Yes, and go. And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the fourth episode of Wasted with Wize. Remember, you could be anywhere in the world, but you've not done shit until you've been wasted with Wize. So tonight, our panel, we got still some more guests rolling in, and I will introduce them as they roll in. But let me go ahead and go through.
I'm the only one who rolls in, asshole. The other ones just show up. Okay.
No, I mean, you don't know. Like, I mean, somebody might be like, you don't know what somebody's in. We've not seen, look, full disclosure, standing up anytime. So we don't know if he's totally fixated on that chair and then somebody wheels him in and wheels him out in front of a camera or not. So, hey, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna be polite. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
he's not real.
Yeah, well, I think Loki is a figment of our imagination, but we'll just stick with that. All right. Well, who joined?
Okay, we just scared somebody off already. There we go. There
we go.
Big deal.
Here you go.
No, it's just my car and the area that I'm driving through just acting a little funky. It tends to cause my phone to drop out.
Wonderful.
All right. So, okay. So our first guest, or not guest, our first panelist, basically lost his job because where it said on the application sex, he said not enough. Supernova, how you doing?
I didn't even know it was going to me. I was like, oh, who's he talking about?
Yeah,
good,
we
man.
never know who he's going to when he starts this shit.
I want to keep you on that spot. How are you doing, and what the hell you drinking, or what pills you popping?
Pills, way too many to list. What I'm drinking, water.
Dinosaur piss. Yes. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Our next panelist is unemployed because when he applied for a job and under sex, he said, I don't even know if that's possible. Cerebral, how you doing?
Oh, that was weak. That was weak sauce, man. Seriously. That was bad. Even for you, that was weak.
It's also a bit redundant going back to the sex line on the application. Redundant.
Yeah.
Well, no, yours is like not enough. His was like, I don't even know if that's even feasibly possible anymore.
Get some better material, buddy.
Yeah, better material is muchly needed here.
Hey,
I'm doing okay, I guess.
So
somebody get the scat man in the hook, pull this man off stage.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
What is this anyway? This is Crystal Light.
What the fuck? What the shit? What the hell?
You have to say crystal meth. Crystal meth.
Yeah, crystal meth would be better, but crystal light? Okay. Come on now.
Hey, nobody's funding my alcohol, so there you go.
You could take that powder and snort it, and it's kind of like crystal meth.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, we didn't see you last week. What's been up with you, man?
Oh, nothing good. Played a lot of
Diablo.
Oh, Diablo. Well, beyond Diablo even. Last week I was
on. Wow.
Yes. Amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
And the last couple of days, I've been playing Stray. I won it for free. So.
Oh, that's right. Awesome.
Yeah.
The only person you can play with.
More than you're getting. Anyway,
I'm jealous.
And then basically I'm just riding the tide until that big game comes out in a couple of weeks.
Baldur's Gate 3 for the PlayStation 5. That's the one.
I actually spent a lot of hours in Baldur's Gate 3. I actually spent a lot. I have, but I had to take a break from Baldur's Gate 3 even. So.
Yeah, we got a pretty big topic on that. I got my piece on that.
I was gonna say, to complain about it because it's overly well made.
Yeah, it's too good. It's too good.
It's way too well. It's like
I saw some. I actually posted it earlier today. Somebody, one of the people that actually is playing Starfield, says I played 15 hours so far and no bugs. Somebody responded with, "Okay, I want a refund." Because getting a Bethesda game with no bugs is just, not
possible. Well, who made it?
But 15 hours in a Bethesda game, that basically gets you out of the character creator, doesn't it? So,
yeah, but past the first 6 bugs that you would normally run into.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
up and be like, Jesus, I gotta start again.
I spent 20 hours.
What the fuck?
When you're looking at the character creator going, a nose does not go there. That is not right. Yeah.
It's a long nose. It's got a
Yeah, I remember when I
big
first
fucking-
fired up. I remember when I first fired up Skyrim on the 360, and people were like, "How many hours you got into Skyrim by now?" I said 20, and they're like, "How far are you?" I'm still in the character creation.
Yeah. Well, there are people that do that. They spend a lot of time in the character creator making it just so. Me, I'm like, okay, let's look at the random ones, change the hair color, maybe make one eye lopsided. Okay, I'm good to go. You know.
Exactly. Hey, as long as I can get like that porcelain white skin and like
Racist.
a white teal hair, that's all I really need. I mean, that's all. I mean, anyhow.
Here, let me make my eyes spin around now.
All right, our next panelist. I'm not saying that he has a face for radio, but let's just say this: when he gets into the shower, the water leaves. Darth Praxis, how you doing?
Oh.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I don't even know how to follow that up. That's
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
Oh God! I would.
How you
rebut,
been
but
doing, man?
I don't even want to dignify it. Doing good. Just barely playing any games for the last week, unfortunately. But I'm drinking the same kind of non-alcoholic stuff. But at least it's beer. Hey, something.
Good, but it has hops. That's all that matters.
Yes,
it
it
has
does.
hops.
It has hops. Roasted
Well,
barley and hops. It's wonderful.
At least you don't make me feel lonely. Well, this is the only 2 hours I don't feel lonely in my life, but that's a different story. Anyhow. Yeah, I am married. Anyhow, our next panelist went to a haunted house and got a job application as a result. Triple, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. Just drinking water. Don't ask. Yeah.
Is somebody standing behind your shoulders or something? You seem like kind
Down
of
to the back of his
tense.
head. Yeah.
Just a little bit, man. Just a little bit.
It's cerebral, isn't it? It's the yellow
Uh-huh.
screen that he has, isn't it?
It's not. Pants are down. I'm scared.
It sounds like one of those people making a video with the Taliban standing behind him with fucking.
I am. Everything is a-okay.
Mhm.
I will say if I vanish, it's because my computer exploded.
Oh,
I killed it like
no.
last week and I revived it. Now it's kind of like this.
Taliban
Oh,
turned
ouch.
into an improvised explosive device.
Yeah,
Frankenstein is what it is. Wonderful.
So, yeah.
If you were on camera, I would say blink once if you need help, blink twice if you're okay. But I have no freaking idea. So, send us codes. Just in the private chat, let us know. Are you really okay, or do we need to call 911? Because I don't know. Or 988, one of the two. So. All right. Let's go ahead and get one. We'll Loke and Cozy will be rolling in and on in whenever they get a chance. So as soon as they come in, I will definitely introduce them. So let's go ahead and get started with our topics. And we got a full load tonight. And want to start off with a pretty small.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about your full load. That's just disgusting.
Hey, look,
Coming in hot.
You could have changed your diapers before you got on the show. Okay.
Exactly.
after 48 years after being on this planet for 48 years and married for 20 of them, hey, the fact that I can still do a full load is a blessing. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Hey, that's why my wife keeps me, because I can do a full load. Anyhow, hey, okay, so let's keep going on. Okay, this is actually Triple's topic. Triple brought this topic idea. It was something interesting that happened this week on YouTube. Not too terribly familiar much with it. Apparently, IGN is a victim of doing a little bit of a snub to Xbox because, according to this person, they said that when Xbox showed when IGN showed the upcoming games, all of the games that were supposed to come out for the Xbox consoles were surprisingly absent. Now, Triple, do you care to enlighten us about this?
Give me a second. I'm trying to go through my freaking
He's in
everything.
the middle of a fucking tornado.
Who is that?
Shit, dude. Is that a tornado? Is this?
That's not me. Someone just joined in. Is that Jim?
I don't know if that was a tornado.
Somebody's driving, through the desert or something. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Shit,
over
I
there.
thought somebody.
Yeah.
I thought,
Okay. So I got it. So essentially, what someone on the Twitterverse, or now the Xverse, I don't know how many times I'm gonna be playing that card out. Someone spotted that on an IGN video listing more of the remaining games coming out this year. IGN had seemingly forgot to include Xbox on titles such as Alan Wake 2. What else was it? Mortal Kombat 1 and what was the third one? Liza P. Xbox was not listed as available on those platforms. So naturally, this caused some hoopla, if you want to call it whatever they say, of people saying, hey, IGN, what's going on? You guys trying to fan the console war flame here because you're excluding Xbox from these games that are coming to Xbox. So what's the deal? So yeah, that was the situation. So whatever you want to take this to first.
Yeah. Didn't they go back and correct it later, I believe?
Probably. I didn't do a follow up on that. I just saw the post.
It wasn't even that they left Xbox out. Really, they had the little square in the bottom. They did fuck up, admittedly. There's a little square in the bottom where it would say like PlayStation 5 and or the PlayStation logo and PC. But if you watch the video, they clearly included Xbox in any of the games that Xbox was
when they were talking about it in the video. Yeah.
Right. So people took screenshots and were like, oh, it's not in the little blurb at the bottom. It's like, yeah, but the dude clearly just said that it's coming to Xbox. So like, what are you complaining about?
Yeah, well, but Sony paid them to make sure that their logo was there. Only.
Well, we all jokingly say this about the narrative, but there was about a year ago, people were really chiming in saying that there was a palpable bias in the media, in the gaming journalist media, when it comes to PlayStation. So
they always say that, but PlayStation is the globally larger brand. So no matter what happens, they're always going to have more media.
Well, globally larger brand, but the problem is you have people carrying their water no matter what, good or bad. They constantly do it, and it seems like the vast majority of them work for the game media.
Having more media is one thing because they are the larger brand, but purposely like down talking the other brands, is silly. Well, and sometimes it does feel like they do that. It's like,
well, down talking the other brands, and then though down talking any other brand or specifically Xbox, while constantly talking positive about PlayStation, even when there's negatives to talk about. And they're like, oh yeah, downplay the negative, and that's what I've seen that a lot. And I'm like, what is?
Well, yeah, because what we see is Xbox raised their prices by $10. Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. That's awful. Sony does it and says, well, this is a good thing. Now they can afford to give you more. What the hell?
I honestly think that we see it for everybody. And then, I don't know, like this is how I feel about it. Because I hear the same thing, like, oh, everyone's got a bias towards Sony. And, do I think individual people at IGN have a bias towards Sony? Absolutely. But have I seen evidence that IGN overall has a bias towards Sony? I don't know. Like, I don't know that you can prove that. Like, they get fucking.
Well, no, the reason I say that sometimes real quick is because they're supposed to have an editor in chief, somebody who's supposed to oversee this stuff. And it's kind of their job to go, you might want to change that wording there. You might want to, and they don't tend to do that. And I remember I'm older than most everybody here. I remember when journalists actually were responsible for what they said.
You remember Jesus on a personal level, so go ahead.
Oh, shut up. I'm just saying. So to me, I mean, I've even said this to some of the guys I know that work for IGN, that, if you're going to say something, do what a journalist would do. Contact, somebody at the company and get the actual information. Don't just say, because I'm tired of them saying, well, they're doing this because, well, who'd you speak to? Oh, they didn't speak to anybody. I've just seen it. I know that's what they're doing. Okay, stop that shit.
I mean, you say that there isn't anything, but at the same time, and I just to poke the bear, but before I do that, let me just go ahead and quickly say hi to DE and Eric83. Apparently, there are fans of Supernova, so Super, they are here for you. If you guys have any questions,
cool. Man showed up, man.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, anyhow,
seats.
How much that cost? I mean, I want to know.
To poke the bear a little bit here, play devil's advocate, if you will.
Let me guess. You've been talking to people. People have been saying.
No. Just like there's been a lot of videos this past week regarding extolling the virtues and all the glory of Baldur's Gate 3. And we're going to get into that topic, but that's kind of weird because like Baldur's Gate 3, I know that it's coming out on the same time. It's launching on consoles on the same date that it's launching that Starfield is launching. And I don't know. It does. Some people have said, I know I say people, but some people have said that, this is a mark of the bias because everyone's talking about Baldur's Gate and nobody's saying anything about Starfield when it's supposed to be coming out.
That's because Baldur's Gate is already out. Okay. Come on.
Well, there's that argument. Well, for consoles, it's still not out yet.
It doesn't matter. It's still out, and people are playing it, and people are seeing it.
And I see like fanboys trying to say that there's no hype around Starfield. And I don't think that's true at all. I see
that's not true at all.
Tons of hype around Starfield and videos made about it and articles made about it. Like it's not like no one's talking about Starfield and everyone's only talking about Baldur's Gate 3. So I don't know.
No, it was talking about advertising. It wasn't talking.
Yeah,
about
and the problem is with Starfield, there's only so much to talk about until it comes out. You can talk about the articles that have come out, the stuff they said is going to be in the game. Okay, how long am I? I'm not going to make a 3-hour video on that shit.
I don't know if you guys saw, but they just Bethesda partnered with the guys over at Tested, which is Adam Savage from Mythbusters, and they're building a fucking scale model of the ship from Starfield. Like they got all the digital files from the game, and then
nice.
Serious?
Yeah, and they're doing it like they're going to make it like if it was film quality. So like the first video was just them printing up all the parts and like trying to figure out how to make the shit work because the parts they got, it's not made to 3D model or the 3D print, it's made for the game. So they're trying to figure shit out. And then there's going to be episodes in the future where they're completely painting everything and weathering everything. And then they're going to actually put it on a motion rig like they use for Star Wars and fucking film that shit and make an actual scene of that ship flying. Dude, it's so badass.
Yeah. Nice.
Too much time on your hands. Jesus.
What do you think, Praxis? Do you think there is a bias?
I've seen a bias for years. It all depends on the publishers or the magazines. I mean, back in the day, there was EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly. There were all the different ones. I saw not as much back when they were in print, especially the ones that I read. But when everything got online, slowly that there were biases that I did see in some of the writing, but it was individual editors and not entire publications. Now it feels like the whole publication just leans one way. And there's
like Craptaku. Craptaku's a good example.
Kotaku,
we don't talk about them.
No, but I'm saying, Kotaku, Polygon, IGN, any one of the major publishers for gaming news and journalism, there's a pretty heavy bias in most of their organizations towards Sony. And you could say it's because of the popularity, but like I said, my problem is I've seen them, like I've said, hold water in circumstances when Sony should be called out. They will sit and they'll play it off like it's not a big deal, or they won't even address it. But anything that Microsoft does, they attack them for it. So I've seen this for years. It's been a long time. I mean, we're talking well before the 360 days when they
even before the internet, because I remember I think it was GameSpot that actually got in trouble for doing pay for play, where they were paying for good reviews on really bad games. They actually got in trouble for that.
And addressing what one of the guys just said in chat, there's talk about Starfield. My problem, like I said, it wasn't talk, it's advertising. I haven't seen the advertising that I've seen for other games. I haven't seen, even Nintendo went crazy with Tears of the Kingdom. I saw it everywhere on everything. I saw it in the theaters.
But that's kind of Xbox's fault, though. And Xbox, it's not like this is the first time that Xbox has had a big game where they're not marketing properly. Like they did the same thing with Halo Infinite. Like Halo Infinite, they didn't market that shit. Like that's your flagship IP. It should have been everywhere, and they just didn't really put it out. The same thing with even though Redfall, thankfully, they didn't put a lot of marketing into that.
I think they remember they may have shot their marketing wad on Halo like a year early. Because remember we had all that way. we had all those Doritos bags and Pepsi boxes with all the Halo crap on it, and there was no game to play. Oh, what the hell?
That is
Yeah.
that is a fair point.
Alright.
They had put all their marketing up, but had to delay it a year. So
Well, let me introduce our next panelist. He is our personal chocolate thunder from down under. Loke, how are you doing? And do you think that there is a bias in the media for PlayStation?
I feel like I'm about to get talked to about my performance report.
You remember, Loke, sandwiches, compliment, criticism, compliment. That's how we do it.
He's giving Ty Guy Travis a run for his money out here. I don't-
All right. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're looking at
Let me
stock
let me undo my sleeves as well.
Oh, he's gonna roll up his sleeve. We're in trouble.
What's the question? What's the question?
We were just starting our topic, and we were just talking about. There was a person who said that there is a bias in the media for PlayStation because apparently there was a video about talking about the future releases this year going up for the games, and they had some of Xbox's games surprisingly absent. So yeah, people are saying there is a bias.
It's not that Xbox's games weren't absent. It's that Xbox's games were shown and the word Xbox was not on the screen.
Okay.
that in that specific instance, yes.
That is literally what happened.
Yeah.
But is there in general a bias, do you believe, in the media?
I just answered your question, bro.
Not
I
for
just
that one,
answered
just
your
in
question.
general.
Not for this instance.
They put up an okay. Sorry. Specifically for this instance, what happened?
So in this instance, there were like 3 games: Mortal Kombat, Lies of P, and Alan Wake 2, where they listed the games for coming to PS5 and PC and excluded
That's what
Xbox.
I'm specifically referring to. Those points. They put up Xbox games. They put up games that are going. There's one of those games that's literally going to Game Pass day 1. They put those games up and didn't mention Xbox. I'm not saying that there's a bias. I am saying, what does it look like? It looks like there's a bias. We don't have any evidence. We don't have any evidence that there's like some collusion in the media. But what I can definitely say is that it definitely looks like there's a bias. It could easily just be chalked down to, I don't know, incompetence or someone didn't double check or whatever, mistakes, etc. But the problem is this mistake is always made with Xbox. It's never made with Nintendo. It's never made with PC. It's never made with PlayStation.
Yeah.
So that's what has everyone's antenna up. Well, everyone that's objective, at least. Everyone else is like, no, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. It's not a problem. But okay. That's all I have to say on it.
Okay. So you kind of agree with me. I get you. I like that. That's good.
I definitely agree with you, bro.
Oh, thank you.
Jim, do you have anything to add to this topic?
Well, first off, how well do you hear me? Second, you forgot my intro, but that's okay.
Oh, okay, no, Jim. He's our panelist, and Jim is the only person who I'm not saying he's not intelligent, but he's the only person who brought a spoon to the Super Bowl. So yeah.
I mean, hey, I was hungry. Okay.
Hey, he came prepared.
Why the fuck is he calling it a Super Bowl?
Man came prepared. That's all I have to say.
All right, so you're
right.
Well, you got a PC. You're a PC gamer, generally speaking. But do you believe that there is a bias in the media?
Oh, I definitely can see the bias looking in. And no, I'm not saying it in the sense of the console war. I'm saying it in the sense of me looking into the little console war thing that goes on that the little kids tend to do. Yeah, there is a media bias towards the PlayStation side. It's like PlayStation 5 this, PlayStation 5 that, Sony this, Sony that. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, some of it can also be attributed to, okay, Microsoft is kind of dropping the ball when it comes to advertisement and, putting the information out about their games like Starfield. Yeah, I see stuff about it, but they could do better, in my opinion. I'm sure. So it's like, but most of the media seems to be more towards the Oh, PlayStation insert topic here.
Oh,
Hiring tomorrow today.
interesting. Well, let me bring in our guest, and our guest is a person who needs a cheat code to play Wii Fit. Cozy, how you doing?
Hey,
Jesus
I will not
Christ.
accept that
Oh,
slander.
Holy fuck!
Okay.
What?
Keep the burner
Turn it
for
down,
her.
Cozy.
Jeez, man.
I feel like John.
Don't make her yell in. Don't make her yell in my ear like that again. Do not make.
Sorry, Paul. I figured
Cheers,
at your
Cozy,
late age, your ears wouldn't. I'd have to yell louder.
Well, no, you just cleared the earwax out though. Holy crap!
Sorry.
Wow.
She gave us the fucking beluga whale death squeal. Jesus Christ.
So, Cozy, first of all, what are you drinking? Hopefully, you're drinking something else besides this dinosaur piss that everyone else is drinking.
I'm actually just drinking lemon water. I'm keeping
fuck, she's drinking
I'm cleaning my
lemon-flavored
my liver. I'm keeping my liver clean for now.
Lemon water.
Then what am I doing? Abusing mine? What the hell?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we
She's cleaning hers because you're dirtied yours up really bad.
Well, shit, my liver's never complained, so if it's not going to say anything. then,
That's because it's comatose. Okay, it's
Because it's swollen twice the size of your heart.
Hey, wait a minute. Okay, so I don't have a heart, but what does that mean? That's the point. But anyhow, Cozy, thank you for being on tonight. Quickly, first of all, do you think there's a bias in the gaming media for PlayStation?
Yes.
Care to elaborate?
I know. Oh, I guess I'll elaborate. I think being the dominant player and the kind of like de facto system for a long time, it just creates this sort of like a space where people are always willing to give allowances that they wouldn't otherwise give.
Okay, so you think that they should keep it the way it is, or do you think they should be a little bit more cognizant to avoid this bias, or is it okay to show bias because hey, everyone has their platform of choice?
Everyone has their platform of choice. My problem is quit lying to yourself. Quit being like, I'm super neutral, I'm unbiased, like whatever. We all have biases,
Mm-hmm.
No.
But it's sort of like, just be honest with yourself about where your biases are.
I mean, being honest, I could probably say I am probably one of the more neutral people out there.
You fucker! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You contradicting, cocksucking piece of shit.
I'm talking to the
Someone
bird.
get this man out
I
of
am
here.
talking to the bird. That had.
oh yeah. She's talking to the bird, not to you, you fucker. Yeah.
This is YouTube.
Wait, did someone say the bird is the word?
The bird. The bird's the word.
No. Speaking. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic.
And that's Wize's way of saying he hates me now.
Well, no comment. All right. Anyhow, so our next topic is Starfield has gone gold. Starfield has gone gold. Preloads are coming up.
Can we
soon.
stop talking about it not going gold now?
I know, Jesus. I know the few days before it went gold, well, it's not gold yet. It's going to be delayed again. Oh, shut up.
Everyone that tweeted that shit instantly looked like shit the next day. I was like, that tweet fucking aged like fucking milk, you retards. Good job.
Wow.
Well, I mean, these days and times, back in the day, gold meant that it was ready to get pressed on to any cartridge format or whatever.
Come on, Wize. He left it right there for you, dude. You were just supposed to add that there's people celebrating now that they're the ones that made the game go gold.
That made the game go gold. Yes, it was the pressure they put on this.
Willed
Yeah.
it into being. They willed
Todd
it
Howard
into
is
right
like,
there.
I've been in this industry for so long, but if it wasn't for Cupcake Pony number 77, I wouldn't have made a gold or something.
Todd
Yeah.
Howard,
Yeah.
after the 7th day he rested, and on the 8th day he made
On the 7th day, he rested. All right.
and on the
Oh,
8th
good.
day he made Starfield go gold. So yeah, there you go.
These
Oh, yeah.
motherfuckers were actually acting like Starfield was going to get delayed, even though it comes out like in a week. I'm like, are you insane? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Nope, there's no proof that it's still not going to get delayed, though.
I actually
What?
pointed out that going gold doesn't mean what it used to, because we're probably going to get a day one patch anyway. I mean, come on, let's you know.
That's going down straight.
Yeah,
man. You know that.
we don't get finished games anymore. We get
Yeah.
almost finished.
Cyberpunk
games.
went gold. Remember?
You got a 10 gig download for the game and a 90 gig patch. That's how the game
Yeah.
usually goes. Yeah.
Though
Well, I mean-
Starfield has installed, it's 100 and something, 101 gig on my hard drive right now. So
I got to look at it again.
But I mean, if going gold really doesn't mean anything anymore, like it's just that that's that iteration that they got working that they could press on a disc. Why do we make it a big deal that if a game goes gold? And why is it a big deal when either game developers don't announce that it's gone gold, or if they announce that it's gone gold, people complain, oh, it's too close to the release date. It's going to be,
Wize.
well, can I speak
Right.
to that real quick? One of the
Okay.
reasons they announced that it's gone gold just says, okay, we've got a completed version, that this is the version we intend to do on launch day. We're not going to touch it before that day, which is probably what's happening. Also, there are going to be some hard copy, some actually on disc versions that are pressed. So they have to press it. Now, they're not going to press the game. We know that. On the disc, they're going to press a little leader file that's going to tell it to go out to the internet and grab it. But yeah, it's just a matter of saying, okay, we have a finalized version. This is it until day 1 or day 2. We all know, but still,
Right.
And given the good news we've heard from the people that are playing it, we may not even get a day 1 patch, which could be a good sign.
That's
They're gonna
sacrilege.
wait a week. They're gonna wait a week just so they
Yeah,
can be
no.
like, see, we didn't have a day 1 patch.
That's sacrilege when you say if a Bethesda game doesn't have a
I
day
know,
one patch.
Bethesda
I mean,
game. Yeah, I know.
I mean, the day 1
Day
patch is
1,
the
day
game.
2, day 2.5, day
no
3.
bugs. I'm canceling my pre-order. When I won't
That's what-
pre-order a Bethesda
yeah.
game, I want bugs. God damn it!
Yeah.
Wow, y'all are toxic up in here.
Look, were you going to say something you wanted to add?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say going gold is like getting married. Everyone wants you to do it. Everyone wants you to do it. It doesn't have the same significance, but if you don't do it,
Right.
then everyone's like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have the same weight. No one takes it that seriously when it happens. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's just another milestone. But if you don't do it, it's like, yo, sound the alarm.
Yeah, or at least if you don't announce it, you have to announce it to make let everybody know.
It
that-
has to happen. You need to put the ring on, bro. You need to sign the documents, throw your life away, and then you can go back to being married.
And the thing that's so silly about it is it's literally just an announcement. Oh, they said they went gold. Cool. Did they? We don't fucking know. We have no idea if they actually went gold or quote unquote what
Yeah.
gold is. They just said
Where's
they
the
did.
certificate?
Like, what does it
Where's
matter?
the certificate? Yeah. Give us the certificate. Give us access to all these documents that prove you've gone gold. Oh, we can't get access. So it's just hearsay. That's a good point.
Well, let me ask you a question
Who's
here.
beating their dog? What the fuck?
That's cozy.
I didn't
That
know we
is
had Michael
Cozy's
Vick on
bird.
the panel.
I have a
That's
bird.
Michael Vick. Oh my god.
Wow.
Relax. I don't make dogs fight before I kill them.
Hmm.
Oh.
Oh,
Kill them.
we're going way back. Oh, you kill them first, then you make them fight. What? I don't understand how that
more fun. It's more fun that way.
It's
As
more
long as you
fun.
don't
You
eat
string
as
them up
long-
like puppets, like they're
Fucking puppy marionettes.
marionette.
Do you? This is gonna sound wrong coming out from my mouth, but oh well.
Of course
Do
it
you
will.
eat the? Do you eat the meat?
Oh,
What?
I mean, dogs eat their poop. I'm not gonna eat dog.
What?
So she says she doesn't
Shit.
put the meat in her mouth.
Sorry,
Boo this
Doesn't
woman,
put
kick
the
her from the
meat-
panel.
I'm not put it. I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not gonna justify that statement.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to go
Yeah.
on record to say that I wasn't the one who said it. That was Supa, and that's not me. Okay, I'm sitting here relaxing and enjoying my wine. I'm sorry to say that was not me.
One of my buddies.
You're
actually-
sorry to say that wasn't you?
Yes, I
very
am
sorry.
actually. Yeah, because that was a really good comment. I should have said. I should say that. I'm gonna write it down.
Swear.
Actually, go ahead.
The fuck? Moving on.
Yes.
Okay, well, look, let me ask you a question about this. Okay, so yeah, as we have all sort of stipulated that going gold really doesn't mean half as what it used to mean. But so, is it a big deal if a game goes gold closer to release date than farther away from release date, or is
Means
that
nothing.
really no significance?
It means nothing. Fallout 4, because let's be very specific. Let's not even use examples of different developers. Fallout 4 from the same studio came out. We went gold 7 days before, and Fallout 4 people are still playing crap out of it today. So
Well, after
it
it's been
means
patched
nothing.
up the yank, so yeah, of course. But
It's Bethesda. It's Bugthesda, dude. Wait, is anyone here in the chat expecting Starfield to launch without any bugs?
There's
Nothing.
no way a Bethesda
No.
game can launch without
you
bugs.
serious?
I mean,
You guys
this
think-
day, yeah, it's
You
a
guys think you could have a save file for 30 hours and you won't have to have backup save files? For real? You guys don't think anyone will like
anybody
interrupt?
having that expectation not being
Do
realistic.
we have children on the panel? What's happening?
I don't even think it's
What is happening?
I see the thing is a game of this type. It's not even just that it's a Bethesda game. It's a game of this style is not going to not have bugs.
Yeah.
It's just
Somebody
impossible.
screaming in the background.
That's my bird, probably.
When you have so many things, you can
No,
do, so
my
many
roommate's
permutations
making a
of
lot of
shit
noise
happen,
out there.
You're gonna have bugs.
I always go by goes by the like how bad the bugs are. Like they're goofy bugs. Oh well, it's whatever. It's not the end of the world. But it's game breaking bugs. It's I explored all 999 worlds in the game. It's like, hey, no, you didn't, and all my data is gone. It's like, well, shit. Okay, but it's just people gotta be
as long as they're
realistic.
not losing data, as long as it's not crashing constantly, as long as it's not massive
breaking
frame
missions and
dips.
stuff
Like
like
if
that,
I'm
like-
playing and all of a sudden like some fucking jelly fucking alien randomly flies across the goddamn screen, I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? It's not who gives a shit.
Yeah,
hey, I
Yeah.
just want to go into a city that's populated where people are not just sitting there in a T formation, just looking at me like I'm.
That's the
I
other
mean, that would be
T-pose, like,
hilarious.
T poses aren't the end of the world, man. People are like, oh,
It's like
the
when,
character's T posing. Who
I mean,
cares?
Just
Cyberpunk had
restart
a
the
lot
fucking
worse.
game, though.
Yeah, Cyberpunk had worse stuff, but I remember accidentally. Well, I say accidentally. I was testing that one of the cyberwares, and I used the mantis blade on a civilian, and like I stabbed him in the back, and he like T-posed and fell over. I was like, what the fuck?
What?
No,
No, this is spirit dominance over. I was like, bro, okay.
What was worse than that in Cyberpunk is I literally saw the same fucking little kid like 8 times within like 30 seconds. Every time you turn around, you're like, it's the same fucking model of the little kid.
Whoops.
Well, the best bug I ever saw with a Bethesda game was in Skyrim. I had a horse, right, and I was riding it. Whenever I would get off of any horse, it would launch into the stratosphere for no reason.
My people need me.
What?
It was literally I would get off the horse, and the next thing you know, the horse is just shooting off in the air. And then the weirdest thing, right? Like I was fighting a dragon, I killed that dragon, and the dragon shot up into the space, into the air as well. And that was
Well,
like the best
You
ever.
just have that effect.
You know why the horse did it? Why? Just because your fat ass got off the.
That's
That's never happening to me again.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Hey, I'm not
He
proud
had all that
of
weight on his legs, and as soon as he got off, he just fucking
So
sprung his ass into the stratosphere.
I wasn't used to it and jumped. Oh, God.
Guys,
Yes, sir.
real quick.
What?
Scarlet Nexus Deluxe Edition is $16 on the
I
PlayStation.
already have it.
Here we go. Here we go.
Definitely worth it. It's I
Yes.
like that you can skip all the cutscenes.
Yes, you
Is that
can.
Scarlet
This
Yams?
podcast brought to you by Steam.
Scarlet
Flash
Nexus.
Sale.
Thank you, Rebate Hunter.
What
All
happened?
right. No, I said this podcast is being brought to you by the Steam's flash sale. So there you go.
PlayStation storefront. We
No,
no
the
longer cover
PlayStation
Xbox games
storefront,
because
bro.
there's
Oh.
biases in the panel now. So
The sale is on the PlayStation storefront.
He
Wait,
forgot the words pinned
where's
on
the
his shirt.
bias?
Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's
We're-
what I'm saying. I don't know about the
we're
video.
sponsored now, so we can't.
You must have missed it a couple weeks ago, Cozy. He spent the last 20 minutes of the show telling us everything that was on sale at the PlayStation.
I mean,
That's not true, Cozy. That is a fake allegation. I don't even own a PlayStation.
He has it on record.
Yeah.
yeah, but don't highlight.
Check the file.
Let's go to the tape. Yeah.
Exhibit
What
A.
is this, NFL? Move on. Wize, what's today's topic? Please, guys.
I just want to say I don't know about the gaming media, but there's definitely a bias in this fucking panel. That's what I
Yeah,
got.
right.
Anyone
Oh,
else have
goodness.
anything to chime in about Starfield going goals?
I
mean,
can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I'm hyped for
games.
it.
I hope it's good. Like I said, the
Me too.
embargo's lifted on 31st. How many days is that before their early access? Like
Like 6 days.
2 weeks from today.
okay, yeah.
I
So
feel
weeks?
like
Yeah, it's
Well,
like a
the
week before the embargo.
it's the first. The embargo ends on the 31st.
yeah,
And the game goes early access on the 1st.
I feel like
So-
there's no way it's bad though.
Well, I mean, Cozy, you and Loke actually, and of course you too, Cerebral, that you guys have sort of like you guys talk to other people and stuff. What have you heard? Cerebral actually said that earlier that he's heard from people who have actually played the game that number one, it's good, and number two, according to Cerebral, there's no bugs yet. But we'll take that with a huge grain of
Yeah,
salt.
someone said there's 15 hours in and nothing.
I only know one person, and they said that it was wow, but like in a good way, like just wow.
Okay, cool.
That's all they
What
would tell
about-
me.
What about you, Loke? Have you heard anything through the grapevine?
I know 2 people. And
Total?
they
You know 2
said-
people total? Really?
Hey,
Oh, one of
that
them is the
claim-
kid that
I
was
know
just
2
born. Yeah.
people- I know 2 people that claim to be playing it,
Mhm.
and they said this is Skyrim in space times 50.
Oh.
And they also confirmed the whole no bugs thing. And I'm just like, I was with you until you said no bugs, bro.
Here's the thing about the bugs.
Uh.
When you have a very open game with like a lot of different things, it's going to be that much harder to even yes, it can be bug free, but it can be harder to even get a bug like in a certain way. Not like you could be doing something specifically that won't trigger a bug or just playing in a way that doesn't. And that's just you. And then someone else can be like, oh crap, this is a bug fest. Because that's how it is. Like people, when they act like, oh, this game isn't bug infested. Really, it's just usually a lot of people that are more vocal
different experiences.
that are just like bugs, and then they go chasing bugs.
But we also
Yeah.
don't.
I mean,
we don't know what's going to trigger the bugs, and everyone's game is going to be completely different because the way the Bethesda games work is they track pretty much everything you do, literally down to where you just drop or place objects. So you can visit a planet and fucking leave, and then go back to that planet. If you dropped a wrench on the ground, it's still going to be there. Like all that data, all those numbers have to go somewhere, and maybe your instance of the combination of numbers decided to make something fucking happen that's not going to happen for somebody else.
Exactly.
It's like when,
that's going to be like that for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the fun part is they have to try to recreate that situation to figure out
Right,
exactly
like-
what happened.
Yeah,
Which can be a pain in the ass, and that can be a
exact
serious pain in the
coordinates
ass.
of a fucking wrench on a planet. What did fucking logic this lab do?
So somebody's gonna,
Well,
Of a
you
fucking
gonna have
wrench.
Also-
one person that's gonna try to like.
Also, go ahead.
You gonna have that one person that's playing on Xbox, but they're gonna do some console war stuff and try to line up the stars perfectly to get this wild bug to happen, and then
Yeah.
everybody's gonna try to replicate it.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to add. That I tried to do the whole game testing thing because I was like, how can I make money with video games and just quit my normal job? And I got like 1 or 2 gigs as a
Grow
video
really
game
big
tester.
tits.
It's a thankless. It is a thankless job. I'm serious, guys. Video game testers,
Key
I
word.
know.
thankless. You get paid to run at walls
Yeah.
incessantly. You
When
get paid to do.
when I heard that was a
ridiculous
job
things.
as a kid, I was like, oh, that sounds so dope. Until someone told me, like, no, listen, I was told for
Right.
5 hours, you're just going to run and jump over that one fucking wall. And that's it. You're going to do it over and over again until you can break it. Or if you can't break it, we're going to have something else that we're just going to have you do over and over and over.
And you have
again
to make a
and try to
report
break.
on that.
Like, it
And you
doesn't
have
sound
to
like
make a
fun at
report on that.
all.
It's not fun at all.
No.
So I just wanted to add that part to the whole 15 hours I haven't found a bug thing. Sure, bruv. I'm sure there's people that played Fallout 4 didn't find a bug. Why? Because they played it a specific way. People like me, I'll probably find bugs. I ain't gonna lie. I'm trying to check out everything. Trying to save it
find
by
bugs
5 seconds.
in Fallout 4, actually.
It's the same way with me in Cyberpunk. Like people are saying,
You
this game
didn't
is
find
buggy
bugs in
and-
Fallout 4?
Yeah, I didn't have any bugs.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
think.
I didn't have many in Fallout 4. I had way more in Skyrim.
And I actually played it during launch.
I don't,
Well,
I don't even know the news around it.
DE does bring up a really good point. He says they can't have cyberpunk issues, don't start specific quests, it'll break your save file. If you have to spoil the game to dodge bugs, it's not really ideal. So yeah, this game has a lot riding on it, and I think that more than any other Bethesda game, this is going to have a hypercritical eye because of obvious reasons, and yeah, it can't have game-breaking bugs. Now, little, bugs where, for example, you get out of, for example, your spaceship and the spaceship shoots off into space or some crap like that, or that's fine.
Again, if you're that fat, that's how big that's.
I'm gonna see if I can create a specific type of ship that'll break the game.
Don't
That
do
ship is
that.
gonna be ridiculous.
Well, they've done a lot.
They've built fucking transformers and shit and robots.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say that they built a fucking mech in that game, and that seems to be handling it okay. Plus, another thing, these people who are playing it might be playing it on a PC, and Cyberpunk even. The people who are playing it who said 15 hours, no, do not start, please. Okay.
No, but don't even think about it.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my god. Okay, but anyhow, yeah. So these guys who are playing it, or gals, I don't know the gender, but those individuals who are playing it might be playing it on a high-end PC, because Cyberpunk also did not have that many game-breaking bugs on PC. It was when you went down to like PlayStation 4, right? And that's when things sort of went to hell in a handbasket. So yeah, I mean, Starfield has to run on PC, has to run on Series S, and has to run on Series X, which is a huge order to ask.
Here's the deal. Like, I don't think there's any game that I can think of that launched and doesn't have some bug of some sort. This game's gonna have. It's not gonna be bug free. It's impossible. Right. And what you're gonna see after it launches, fucking compilations of bugs in the game. And people go, "Oh, fucking Starfield's a buggy piece of shit," and it's like. Okay, 90% of the people may not even experience any of the bugs in this compilation. Yep. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in every goddamn game, so just be ready for it.
Or they're purposely nitpicking it for every little thing. It's
like how many times do you see people, they walk up to like a plant, they're like, oh, fucking, you just go right through the plant. There's no physics.
Oh yeah, the fruit physics. Yeah, let's go back to the fruit physics.
Zoom in. Oh my god! Or you zoom in.
Are you talking about the fucking Halo thing when they were?
Yeah.
God, man, people would cling to anything. I completely forgot about that. And
they will bitch about any bug, no matter how big or how small. And even the smallest bug will be, oh my god, fucking couldn't play the game. Like, dude, then don't fucking play it. Fucking return it then and shut the fuck up.
Whereas the only real bug I had in Cyberpunk was one time I was driving and my car shot up into space and went basically to the. I'm like, okay, this is fun. I like this. This is hilarious.
Did you drop Wize off at his house?
Yeah, basically. That's when the car.
His horse up there with you.
Yeah.
You saw my
Get Wize out of the car, and all of a sudden I was flying through the air. I was like, holy shit.
This is fun. It helps me travel faster.
Hey, I'm not saying that I'm fat, but my belly button gets to my destination 15 minutes before I do. So that's a different story.
15 minutes.
That's a record.
Wow.
That's distance.
All right, anyone else?
You're not fat, Wize. You have girth.
I'm physically pumped.
I just hope the game's awesome. That's pretty much. I don't know if I'll hop in or not, because I'm just like, damn, Destiny is starting a new season. I don't know. Shit.
Anyone else have anything to add to this before we move on to the main topic?
No.
All right.
Wait, Starfield is not the main topic?
What is it?
I'm out.
Amazingly enough.
Out of here. I'm done. Later.
I quit. I'll see y'all later.
The fuck?
Like, boycott this damn show. Well, all right. So our main topic, and it's a pretty big one. That's why I want to give it as much time as we can. is, unless you've been living under a rock, Baldur's Gate 3 came out for PC and it has garnered exceptional reviews.
Say it properly. It came out for PC and PS5. You want to say
no,
it?
not out for
out on
PS5
PS5. You can't
Not
say
out for
came
PS5 yet.
Not
Not
yet.
out for PS5 yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
not yet. Okay.
Not
The way people be talking about Baldur's Gate and PS5, man.
I know.
It is ridiculous, man.
Finish
And
the
listen,
intro.
99% of those people saying that shit are not even going to buy this fucking game. These PlayStation guys, they're not buying this game.
All I know,
It's a
people have the
specific
hype.
type of game. It's
a
not.
large
This speaks to a lot of people.
Then probably will have regret when they buy it and be like,
Oh yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
Elden Ring all over again. On some TV.
So,
or some
Yeah,
shit.
but I think
Sorry.
Elden Ring was easier to understand what you're going to get with it because there are other Souls games like that have been out, like
No.
Sekiro before that. But like I don't know, Baldur's Gate. Like I didn't know what to think about Baldur's Gate. If I hadn't watched videos of Baldur's Gate, I assumed it was just like Diablo, isometric. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was like super
people
turn
are
based.
surprisingly
20 side dice. I was like,
not
whoa,
very
okay.
clever. And I think the other thing is people will discover, people buy into hype all the time. They're like, oh, people are saying this thing is cool, so cool, so I must try it. I want to be part of this experience. And so they do that, and then they're like, oh, I didn't like that. But it's their money.
If you don't research and you get fucked over, that's your own damn fault.
Most people don't research.
Well,
course.
one thing I am actually happy about is that, it's going back to turn-based. I mean, Final Fantasy 16 infamously sort of skewed away from the whole turn-based dynamics that they used to have with prior Final Fantasies. And while it did garner a lot of critical reviews and critical success, a lot of hardcore RPG guys feel slighted because of the mechanics that they took away from Final Fantasy 16. So
It wasn't the turn-based. I think that was the issue, though. It
that
was
was
just
the
not an
biggest
RPG.
it was not a true RPG.
It's just not a turn-based one.
And what about it was an RPG?
Well, it's not really even an RPG. It's like more of an RPG light. You know,
Destiny
it's more-
2 is an RPG. You know that, right?
You can have more customization options in Destiny than
Well,
Final
true.
Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am kind of happy that like a lot of people are now re-embracing the turn-based mechanic and sort of seeing that. So yeah, for my part, I love turn-based. I'm a huge RPG guy, so I'm actually looking forward to it. But that is not really the main that was not really the main issue here. The main issue was actually this guy came and tweeted that do not take Baldur's Gate as an industry standard. It is a unicorn that the people who developed this game were uniquely set up for the type of success that they are achieving, and not to assume that all games going forward would be of this caliber, because simply put, the developers have their hands tied, which caused IGN to release a video. Dustin Liguri was actually famously doing the video, and he brought about some ideas or topics that sort of got my interest when I was starting to watch it. And there was other YouTubers who actually chimed in with this video and said that, is it too much for us as gamers to start expecting more, or have we sort of become complacent with what we received? I remember a time when you have the game you bought, wherever you bought it from, Toys R Us, KB, whatever, software, etc., etc. I'm showing my age. That was the game, for better or worse. I mean,
Right.
Nintendo Hard is famously known to be called Nintendo Hard because of all that stuff. Like I remember with Ninja Gaiden, if a freaking bird hit you and you got knocked back, you fell into a crevice and that's it, you died. There was no patches back then. But ever since with Xbox Live, when initially Xbox Live got launched, people, I was looking at it, I'm like, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. Number one, it's a good thing because if they just use it for DLC, that's great. But unfortunately, most people are not going to use it for DLC. They're going to use it to patch their game post-release, and that's exactly what has come to fruition. So my first question to the panel is this: do you think, as gamers, we have sort of become complacent with these publishers and developers and the stuff that they've given us, or do you think that, you know, we are hypercritical? We're sort of like, okay, this is not a big issue, this is a nothing burger, and we're making a big deal out of nothing. So I want to ask this to Cozy. What do you think? Do you think as gamers that we've become complacent to all these things that they've introduced in gaming, like microtransactions and DLCs, where literally the DLC is on the freaking disc on the day one and they don't unlock it until 6 months later or something like that? Have we become complacent?
It wouldn't be such a thing if people didn't buy it. Let me tell you what they'll stop doing, things that people don't buy. You have people like, well, I'm not going to buy this. Let's not do this. And, you know, you have to just accept that you're a vocal minority.
Okay. So, like, well, what do you think? Do you like the current state of how your AAAs are being released, or do you want
I'm
to
not
harken
really
it back
into AAAs. I can.
Well, the AAAs you play. Well, the AAAs you do play.
Starfield is the first AAA game that I'm trying to think. Oh gosh. Yeah, Starfield.
Really? That's your first AAA?
No, not first, but I'd be hard pressed to think of a AAA game that I've played in the last probably 3-ish years. Oh no, I forget Diablo. Diablo was like the first.
Well, Diablo is a good one. Like it has all these microtransactions, all these costumes, all this stuff that you will have to buy. Baldur's Gate doesn't have.
No. Don't have to. No.
Well, you don't have to buy it, but they do sort of like.
They do not. It's isolated. I've
No,
never even seen it. I've never even seen any of that stuff.
You're kidding.
I've never seen any of it.
Unless you go into it, you don't see it. Yeah, unless you go into it, you don't see it.
Yeah, was it a season pass and like the seasonal content is pretty much the only mandatory, air quote, mandatory thing you gotta buy, but the cosmetics and stuff like that you don't.
Well, they sold that they sold an update, or say they sold something for Diablo 4, and they had to come out and actually say that this is not indicative of the other updates that we're going to make. You know, this is apparently that the new the new season was a crap season, and I guess Cerebral, you could talk about that. Was the season that bad? What was so bad about it? Because you're more into the game than I am.
It wasn't that bad. What it was they released the season the same time they tweaked all the characters. Oh, okay, let's call it what it was. They nerfed the characters badly on both ends of the stick, on the amount of damage you took, on the amount of damage you gave, on the amount of experience you got. It was a shit show. I mean, it became anything past 60 became a serious grind. I mean, I've stopped playing it, and I was gonna try to make it to 100 with my seasonal character before Starfield, but I couldn't find, a lot of my friends weren't playing it that much, and when they were so much lower level than me that I wasn't getting anything out of it. But yeah, hopefully they've learned their lesson with this season. I really hope so. I did get some nice looking cosmetics out of it, but I didn't pay any money for them. Because I just went through the season pass, which I bought when I bought the game. Part of the early pre-order thing. Can I speak on the actual subject you were asking about?
Yes. Go ahead.
What were we talking about? Let me look.
Or have we as gamers become complacent?
That's it. Yeah. In a way, maybe, but let me just say too that in a sense of Baldur's Gate is a unicorn. I mean, it's not like they worked on this game for 2 years and they were done. They had 5 years to work on this game, and that's all they worked on. And they were very focused, and they've done a great job. The turn-based thing, by the way, it's only, during 2 phases, during combat, and there are certain parts of the game where, since the environment is, quote, attacking you, it switches to turn-based, which is really fucking annoying when all you're trying to do is get from point A to point B, and you've got to individually click on each character and move them in turn. Holy shit.
Thing I saw when someone had a squirrel or something.
It is so damn annoying. It is so damn annoying.
It's like playing Dragon's Quest all over again. Jeez.
It's like
the original NES one. I mean,
well, the problem is, and for the most part, if you have the right equipment, nothing's gonna hurt you even while you're doing this walk. So it's like, so why can't I just group all my guys together underneath this protective umbrella light and move as one instead of having to? Okay, you go forward, you go forward, you go forward. Oh my God!
Wait, they still have that? That seems archaic.
Only for certain parts, and then the bad part is it doesn't turn off until you actually get into a combat situation or a load situation. So even when you're out of danger, it still doesn't shut off. So you're still having to slowly work your way through shit. It's like, okay, I'm gonna kill this damn game. I'm gonna, Other than that, it's a great game.
Well,
Wow, you really
look,
sold it, bro.
Look,
I
let
mean,
me
no,
tell you-
the story's great. Everything's great about it, except for that one piece of functionality.
But do you-
Everything, and then
Everything?
except for.
Yeah.
Well, okay, almost everything except for that one piece of functionality,
Alright.
which I think they should have done better.
Trudging knee deep in mud is what it sounds like. Jesus.
It's exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
It sounds cumbersome.
I'll try it when it's
Yeah.
on sale.
But look, let me ask you the question I posed to everybody else. Do you think we've become sort of complacent as gamers? Or like, okay, well, this is the best we're gonna ever get, so might as well sit down and grin and bear it.
Yeah, I think we've become complacent. Not, I think it's because of the avalanche of just content we've been fed, from like Netflix to Game Pass and PS Plus and all these subscriptions that open doors and windows all over the place. It's so much
Oversaturation.
that
Mm-hmm.
it's oversaturation, and we all, well, the reasonable side of us, we all thought that we were gonna end up with a whole bunch of drivel, and then we'd have like 5 or 6 great things.
Yeah.
But what happened was we ended up with a whole bunch of decent, and the decent was good enough to keep a lot of us pacified. So I guess we get what we deserve in this case.
Yep.
Like the meme goes, you get what you fucking deserve.
Exactly.
And we've been paying for these things, and the reasonable people among us know that corporations don't listen to emotions. They don't understand emotions. The only thing they understand is numbers, sales, and we've been telling them that we don't want things like Baldur's Gate. We've been telling them we want Fortnite, we want Madden,
Yes.
we want FIFA. That's what we've been telling them.
Mhm.
So you can't be mad at your child when you've been emphasizing to them that you have ice cream for breakfast. We eat ice cream for breakfast in this house. And then when they turn 16 and they have problems with their teeth, now you want to be pissed off at your child. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
We created this monster. Now we have to deal with it.
But I think something that people need to understand is the people who are saying, I don't want this, I don't like this, we are a minority. I can count on one hand the times I've bought any DLC ever. I buy DLC. Vampire Survivors was like the last DLC I bought. But, that was like, I don't mind buying DLC for that game.
All that shit is such bullshit. I hate it. I hate when they have paid skins. I hate when they have battle passes, because honestly, it's like, listen, you had a budget to make this game. You made the game, and then you made all this armor, all these horses, all these guns, and then you said, hey, let me look, show me all the coolest shit you made. Okay, all that cool shit? Yeah, not in the game. Remove it from the game. We'll sell it back to these dumb fucks later. And it's like, well, if you made it for the game, it should be in the fucking game. But the thing is, like she was saying, we're a vocal minority. I don't know if we're all complacent or not. I know I'm not. But the problem is we have this younger generation who's grown up playing nothing but Fortnite and getting paid skins and mobile games. So this shit doesn't bother them. Things like microtransactions doesn't bother them. Having to pay for skins doesn't bother them. Like for me, I feel like we should be able to unlock shit by actually playing the game.
It's not just young gamers.
They don't give a fuck.
It's not just young gamers.
It's not just young gamers. What I'm saying is the generations coming up outnumber us, and the generations coming up give less of a fuck than we do. And like in the notes, Wize, it said like, are we a dying breed? Fuck yeah, we're a dying breed. We're the last guard. Like that's it. We're done. As soon as we're gone,
we're the only ones that still remember. We're the only ones that still remember paying $60 and getting the full game.
And getting
we are the problem. Like the devs, the publishers, they hate us.
Oh, 100%.
It's like, why won't these motherfuckers die? We need to start.
The guy was complaining about that. The developers are complaining about. We're the ones.
Yes, they're complaining about us here.
we're holding
You're
their
not
feet to the
complaining
fire.
about
So
my kid
Fuck
playing
these people expecting
fucking
complete
Minecraft.
games. No, we want these other people. We can sell them unfinished games. They won't complain. They'll buy all the extra shit that we make on the side. They love them. They won't give a fuck about us.
I appreciate that hustle though. Like if I could find ways to just milk people and take as much money from them as possible, bet
True,
I don't even look at
true.
them as
Oh, yeah.
negative. It's like, dang,
yeah.
I wish I could do that. I want to just extract. In fact, I want to see them see how much money they can get from people by making it worse and worse. I'm not playing these games, so it's more fascinating for me. But for science, like, what if
I
you
don't
just
think they're gonna get very far.
what if you just raise the price just a little? Just like, on everything.
Bro, we're going to get to the point where eventually they're going to start charging money just for features. They're like, oh, you want to play this game with 120 also? Oh, $15 to unlock 120 frames mode.
And people
PlayStation's already
complain,
doing that.
but
What you
they'll
mean?
pay up. They'll pay up.
$10 upgrade.
100%.
$10
Triple,
upgrade.
don't be like that.
I'm sorry.
What?
Bro, what did you say, Triple? We didn't
he
catch
said
that.
we're paying for FPS boost. I'm like, we kind of already do with some of these $10 upgrades on PlayStation.
Well, I mean, it
get
annoys me, and I know everyone here is sort of expressing my same sentiment. As a father of two boys who actually love all that type of Valorant, Fortnite crap, mumbo jumbo. Yeah, you're right.
Hey.
Yeah. So that being said, I still miss those days where I just bought a game, brought it into my Nintendo, Super Nintendo, whatever, N64, PlayStation, and that was the game, and I got everything I wanted in that game. I didn't have to go out and buy a new cool looking thing or anything like that. I mean, it happened with Diablo 1 originally. You got all the gear on the first day, and I miss that. I really do. And I know I mean, it is atypical to ask for that type of game, but this is the type of game that sort of delivers that you get everything on the day one release. And in fact, when you go into, like, I think in one of the screens, if it asks for like downloads or something, and it does say that everything is there, you don't have to download anything or you don't have to buy anything, just enjoy the game. And I miss that.
DLC or no microtransactions in Baldur's Gate too. Yeah.
Right.
People will say paid skins and shit. It's like harmless, like it's a victimless crime, and it's like yeah, it is. But at the same time, it's fucked up. Like all the shit should be in the game from the jump.
Well, I agree with that.
It is
a good example of that really pissed me off. I mean, a lot, and a lot of people saw this was Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 locked all the main characters that were main characters in the game. Their multiplayer skins were locked behind $100 paywall. You had to pay for the $100 Vault Edition to unlock their skins to even play as them in the multiplayer.
So, like, what was it? Price and Woods? I don't know. Price is that Modern Warfare 3?
It was $100, and you couldn't get around it. You had to pay for that. And I knew, and the saddest thing of all, I played with a huge number of people, and more than
everyone had it.
More than half of them paid it for it. I was like, what?
You tell me the characters in the story, they're in the game, but I had to pay to play them in multiplayer.
Yep.
What?
Exactly. But it's
Remember when you can unlock the higher boosted armor in Halo 3?
Well, it doesn't Killer Instinct does that, doesn't it? Because Killer Instinct, I don't have access to all the characters.
Well, so Killer Instinct model is different because with Killer Instinct, they kind of had it to where you could buy.
Hold on one second. Real Gamer, thank you for the like and subscribe, man. Appreciate it. And Super, you got another
Real Gamer.
You got it.
A real one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I know Real Gamer. He's a good friend.
But Killer Instinct was different because they kind of had it to where traditional fighters, you get the whole roster. And their approach was like, hey, maybe you only like Jago or you only like Combo or something like that. So you can pay which character you want. And I think they had an addition later where it's like all the characters in one if you wanted to. So it's different from what we're speaking about here, where was it? I think Price is Modern Warfare. I get Woods and Price mixed up. And they're in the campaign. But if you want to use that character in multiplayer, for example, then you got to pay $100 to use a campaign character. I would put it like this: imagine if Marcus from Gears of War was locked behind $100.
That's ridiculous.
Imagine that. Like that's so stupid. I can understand if it was a character from a different Call of Duty franchise or something. Yeah. But even then,
but it's Call of Duty.
It was Ghost. It was Ghost. It was Price, Soap. It was all the I can't remember the girl. Farah, or she's
doesn't make any
one of the new
sense.
characters.
And it's one thing if they do this shit in free to play games. It's like I get it, the game is free to play. That's how you make your money. But these greedy fucks are like, oh, you know what? Let's get these dumb shits to pay for the game and pay for all the extra shit.
Yeah,
And then people
that's the
do
big
it.
one.
Yeah, I bitched about it for like a month. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I said, are they going to be available? And everybody's like, oh yeah, they'll be available eventually, but not those versions. The original versions that they sold, you can only get that skin. And I eventually
that's scummy.
unlocked almost all of them. But
You remember back in the day where you could do like campaign unlocks and stuff like that?
Well,
Beat this game on veteran to get this character unlocked or something like that?
Yeah, to
I
get
unlocked
this
it.
ammo.
Do certain things to get the costumes and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You were saying,
unlocked
Darth?
I did
saying?
unlock them, most of them, but the problem is when you take into account how I did it through the season passes. So you have, but I was doing it so when
So either way, you're paying. Either way,
well,
you
when
are
I
paying.
had to, okay, the season pass, the way it works is if you get it, you get the first season pass when you get the game. I think I could be wrong. I might have had to pay for it, but the thing is, you earn enough credits if you save them and you don't spend anything on any cosmetic. You can roll them over and use them to buy the next season pass. So you can basically.
Are you talking about Fortnite? That's what Fortnite does. Yeah.
I'm talking about Call of Duty.
Oh, well, Fortnite does that as well.
question-
Fortnite does that as well.
Yeah.
The last question I have.
Well,
was,
okay, go ahead, but
is it
I
the
want somebody to
multiplayer
comment
or
on
the
this.
That's the multiplayer.
battle royale multiplayer?
That's
So
multiplayer.
the actual because that's it's part of the game. Like if it was Warzone, that's somewhat separate from Modern Warfare 2. But if it's multiplayer Modern Warfare 2, that's just greedy.
No, it is greedy as shit. And on
Like-
top of that, the problem I ran into, there was like one skin. I'm like, oh, I'd like to get that one. I'm like, okay, well, I just used some points to get one because it was a gun skin I liked. I'm like, whatever. I didn't really pay for it. I'm like, I'll just get it. And then I go to get this season, and I'm like, shit, I don't have enough points. I can't earn any more. Nope.
And then you need like $1, but they only sell them in bundles of
They
like
only sell them
5
in
or
Right.
some shit.
The quantities they
perfect.
sell is always so that you just are short of the amount you need and have to buy
Buy it
double of the
individually.
credits.
Well, the funny thing is, yeah, they sell it in blocks, but yeah, when you calculate them up, you could basically spend $1 and get the same thing. It's just
It's
dumb.
Well,
it's
And then
the
there's games where they interject like loot crates or gambling into it, where it's like, oh well, you can get everything organically, but then it comes out it's like you'd have to play for like 30,000 hours
Well,
to try to get everything. It's just like
yeah, it's
Yeah.
random generated, so you never know what you're gonna get. So it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's random. So you can get a great drop once or never get a great drop ever. Yeah.
Well, so Darth, DE actually said people are paying Bungie not to make Destiny 3. They're buying cosmetics to fund expansions and not an overhaul because nobody wants to lose their cosmetics. Do you think that is true or false?
That's
wait, what's going on with Destiny?
And then
People are
no,
paying Bungie to
we'll
not
both
make a
respond to
Destiny
this
3
because both of us
for
are
buying
involved in this.
cosmetics
I was
to
gonna
fund
say,
campaigns.
if you took like Destiny, I guess there were people that were pissed when Destiny 1 went to Destiny 2 and they couldn't carry things over, but who cares?
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's part of a sequel, you know.
yeah,
But
it's a new game. Like what do you
Yeah,
expect?
I guess it's different now because we're paying for skins and you invest into it. But I think that's just a natural understanding of buying games
mean-
if you're going to get the sequel or something. Like it's not a
I
continuous.
mean, they could be nice and do that, but I mean,
Oh,
to
yeah.
be fair,
No, yeah,
you
don't-
make
don't
more
get me
money
wrong,
by
yeah.
not doing it.
Well,
And since people
Yeah.
buy the sequel, people will buy Destiny 3. Who are kidding? People are gonna buy Destiny 3 even if they lose all their skins.
But it's the whole Mario Kart scenario. Why or Grand Theft Auto scenario? Why would these publishers be incentivized to make the next sequel
Yeah.
when their current thing is making hand over fist?
Right. When GTA Online is printing fucking money, why are they going to waste time, money, and effort to work on GTA 6? GTA Online's already making them billions of dollars. And all they got to do is every once in a while release some new heist expansion
See,
and
that's
generate
why I
another
like
billion.
A lot of the players off. There are a lot of players that are really pissed off. They're like, dude, when the fuck is the next game?
Not enough of them apparently because
Well, there's a lot of money being made, but there are a lot of
Yeah.
regular gamers that are like, dude, I'm kind of getting tired of waiting for your game, man. 10
No,
years.
only once they start like seeing a drop off, a serious drop off, will they start being like
And
have to
that's
be
the problem.
serious.
There have been we've been conditioned, yes. We've been conditioned to follow along and to do what they want to do as far as for microtransactions, yes. I mean, even me to a degree, like I said, even with Modern Warfare, I'm sitting like, well, I need a couple of bucks just to make that battle pass so that I can continue getting this thing. But the 99% of what I do is earn it through the game. I don't do any. I bust my ass to try to finish it off, so I get it in time, and it's all for nothing. It's all for just like skins and things. I didn't pay for it. I'm just trying to earn them, and it takes a lot to do. And I'm like, okay, and that's the whole point of grinding it. Other than that, there's no other reason to play. I mean, for that matter, let's talk about Modern Warfare 3's dropped. You saw the trailer drop for that yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like a DLC to me. I mean, I love Modern Warfare, and I saw it and I was like, what the hell is this? It's kind of like, I'm serious. I looked at it like it just was not, it was underwhelming to me. I was like, it's like playing the game I'm playing. I mean, it looks like an expansion. It doesn't look like a new game. And that's kind of what it is. And
So,
considering
you mean like Overwatch 1.5? I mean Overwatch 2.
We don't talk about Overwatch. Overwatch.
That would not be mentioned.
I actually stopped playing Overwatch.
How can I put this? I don't even want to get into attention, but I was genuinely looking forward to the PvE side of things.
Oh, same.
And they disappointed. I wasn't even a huge Overwatch fan in terms of playing Overwatch 1 PvP. I just love the universe and all the characters, and the few times I did play. But seeing all the things that they were going to put into the PvE side, skill trees, and expanding the story, and then we get this, I'm just like,
No.
man.
You and me both. I was like the same way. I stopped playing Overwatch as soon as they were like, oh, no PvE, psych y'all. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll do other things. But honestly, I think for a lot of me, I'm hard to nickel and dime, especially as someone who loves gaming. It's like wild because I spend so much time on games, but I'm also super hard to nickel and dime. Like I'm already like hesitant to pay more than $30 for any game. But in addition to that, it's sort of like, yeah, I don't do that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can speak for myself, okay? Like in the sense that I remember back in the day that all of the cosmetics that you got, all the weapons that you got, you earned by playing the game. Famously speaking, Diablo, the original Diablo, everything that you got was available in game from day one. And the beauty of that game was that sometimes you wouldn't see the best armor until you got your second or third playthrough, and that was interesting to me. Now, these days and times with my kids, they'll come in and they'll just say, okay, Dad, I just want this skin. And I'm like, well, what does it do? He's like, no, it just makes my character look cool. And I'm like, that idea of still giving away real money to get something that is only going to exist on an avatar, on a digital space,
on a specific,
as long as that game is there. Yeah, for that specific game. That whole thing is still foreign to me, and I still, to be honest with you, and again, I'm just showing my age, I don't support it because I'm like, if it's just strictly cosmetic, then
it's the hard. I get you, and that's where I might be. I guess it depends on how word is that. Because with Destiny, for example, that's kind of the issue people have with the Eververse system in Destiny, and a lot of times, me personally, I'm just like, it's just skins. I don't really care. And when it comes to their dungeons, their raids, they have separate armors for those. And even with the battle pass that you have to pay for the seasonal content, it has its own skins. So when people are up in the hoopla about not getting some skins for like strike missions, I do understand. But at the same time, just like, Eververse getting the skin, I don't really care as long as the game's fine and it doesn't have game actual benefits, pay to win. But I can completely understand, like, if I had the choice between everything being available in game or having a store, I'd rather have everything available in the game instead of having to pay for it. Because and Destiny kind of has done, and I say kind of because they're still really just terrible about it. With their some skins, you have two currencies: the premium, and then the currency you can buy or earn in game, and that's what you can use to buy. Yeah, silver and bright dust. But they still have some things that are exclusively locked behind the premium currency. So it's like,
that actually, Real Gamer brings that up. He said, one thing I don't like is if you play on one platform and earn whatever currency that they have, you play on another platform, it doesn't carry over. It's the same game.
I think it depends on the game as well, because Destiny with cross-platform, your current, like all your character stuff carry over. The problem is though, is that when it comes to your seasonal stuff, and I guess it's because of how the storefronts work. If you buy, I think, like the DLC on Xbox, but you can't carry that DLC over to PlayStation. And I'm not too sure about the Battle Pass and the seasonal content, but in terms of your currency and maybe not your premium though, it's a mess. But I completely understand that part, and I think that does come down to the storefronts and just the whole thing they got to deal with there. So, but on the topic of what we're talking about with Boulder Gate, I understand where the developer was coming from in terms of, I don't think he was trying to say don't expect great things from people. It's just understand that everyone has different levels of manpower to work on the game, and everyone's situation is completely different. It's kind of like where I'm sure some people played The Last of Us 2, and as amazing as it was in different areas, I understand the backlash you got. Like, you can't look at Last of Us and expect every other third person over shoulder narrative driven game.
Who looks at any game and expects every game going forward to be exactly like that game?
Exactly, and that's what he was getting at. And some people do have that, like we were talking about with Bethesda and the bugs. Like, some people are out there expecting 0 bugs and not being realistic.
They eat fucking paint chips.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I think as gamers, especially us, I think it is our responsibility as the elder gamers here to sort of like do something, because in the sense that we've given a lot as gamers. I mean, we give it an inch. We got games that come out buggy. We have games that come out feature incomplete.
Said it best.
We have games that come out broken, straight broken, and we take it. And we take it, and we take it, and then we have the audacity of once the game fucking comes out, and it comes out as a buggy shit, and then they patch it later, and it gets running, and it gets really good. Then we as gamers are like, oh my god, it's the greatest game ever. I mean, this is what upsets me. I mean, it is high. I know these games are getting bigger, but I want a feature complete game. I want a bug free game, or as much as bug free you can make it, so that it doesn't break, and I don't have people NPCs T-boning me in the middle of the fucking game. I don't want to just sitting there with the fucking T, or like get out the fucking car and the car shoots off and the fucking.
I hate when they're filet mignon, but it's the worst when they serve.
I get that, and again,
I'm just tired of it. This is bullshit, you know.
I'm with you,
it's just being mindful and just understanding that, one, not making any excuses for the developers, but it just depends on the level of tiers of how bad these bugs are. Like, of course, the size of Starfield, it's understandable to have some crazy bugs happen. As Loke was saying, all the variables they plan to actually getting the bugs to happen, it's understandable. But as you're saying, when it's on mass, like, that's the game. And Cyberpunk is always going to be the best example.
But that's the thing. That's pissing me off. It's like, what game has come out in the foreseeable, in the past, let's just say past year, that has been a AAA game that we've been paying, that has been without any bugs and has been feature complete?
I want to say maybe Breath of the Wild. Is there any crazy?
No, but Breath of the Wild had fucking bugs too. You know?
Yeah, and again, that's just where I'm just.
Yeah, but they never got fixed.
Yeah,
but the problem is you give them. But the problem is you give these bastards an inch, and they keep taking more, and they keep taking more, and they keep taking more. Now it's gotten to the point where like these games just don't come out working, for lack of a better word.
And again, that's why we just have to be. You have to be real on the matter of like how much of it is broken and understanding it. So, as I said, if Starfield came out and there's some funny bugs, but nothing game breaking, like, okay, this whatever. And even then, we say today the games are coming out buggy. Like, games since for the longest of times, like, they've had issues. Nothing. The bigger the games have gotten, sure there's bugs, but it's always a matter of like how bad are they for us to say this is a problem. You know, not. It's just be understanding of how perfect. Like, don't get me wrong, I want every game to be perfect, but I'm not going to throw a fit on. Okay, a car flew into the air randomly and everything's fine for the most part. But I completely understand.
It's never going to get better. The games are only getting bigger. They're only getting more
complex. I'll put it this way: like Elden Ring, for example. Elden Ring didn't launch perfect, but a lot of people, it's one of the highest rated games and especially for software. But people know there's issues with the game. But on how much of the game worked versus how much of the game had issues, it was enough to where people like,
back in the day as gamers, we got games. I mean, back in the day, it was a feature complete game. Skyrim was a feature complete game. Was it bug free?
It had problems, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, back in like all of your most of the Nintendo games that were coming out at that time, they were bug free. They had a lot of stuff. Elden Ring, historically speaking, was feature rich. The reason it went as big as it did was because it was feature packed. And I mean, I think the problem is that like
doesn't Elden Ring have a DLC coming out?
Yeah,
well,
but
look at what was.
Let me ask you something real quick. Why is this to understand where you're coming from? Are you asking for bug-free game or feature-rich games? Because you asked what AAA came out and like wasn't Tears of the Kingdom like feature-rich? It wasn't bug-free, but it wasn't missing major features. Maybe
Well,
I don't know what DLC they have or.
Okay,
So
Tears of the Kingdom, I would say that it is probably close to as feature rich and bug free as you could probably expect it anymore. And I like that about Nintendo, and I think to a certain extent that Nintendo does recognize that, and I think that's why Nintendo has the fan base that it does, because when it does release a game, it is packed with content. Now, do they release additional content on top of that? Yes, they do. I mean, that's just what Nintendo does, and that's what everybody does. Yeah, but I mean, like these days and times, I mean, half the game is stripped. They probably make the game, and they take half, and the publisher comes in and says, "Okay, we're going to take this half and make that in a freaking DLC."
Sell it later. Yeah,
you know,
or you
yeah,
can do the glorious Capcom.
I was bringing up Call of Duty for that very reason. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Like I was saying, it looked like a DLC. The more I thought about it, I actually wrote that.
That's what the
the
stories were saying, that they were supposed to be putting out like a bonus content, not bonus content, but like a smaller approach to COD. And
it frustrates me because it looks like, to me, the trailer I saw, it looked like it should have been Modern Warfare 2, and it's so close on the heels of the first one, or of the second game, that I'm sitting there thinking, why wasn't this just released as Modern Warfare 2?
Money.
Well,
I mean, also you got to think like graphically, there's only so far we can go. So it's like you're going to see a huge jump in graphics. And if it's Modern Warfare, I don't know how you make another Modern Warfare and really make it its own thing visually when you're looking at it, to make it completely separate from Modern Warfare 2. Like,
they have different engines. Different engines run on. They run on a little bit different engines, or different.
Right,
different
but it's still going to look pretty much like it's the same thing.
Similar. They're going to be similar, but the problem I've got is it's a year. It's what? It's been a year since the game came out, and it's part 3.
I don't even keep up with the Call of Duty thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's a year. If it's a year, then dude, even if it's 2 years, that's not enough time to make a full sequel.
Well, is it the same devs, or is it one of the other devs? Oh, it's the same exact devs?
Yeah.
I thought they normally rotate.
Yeah, because Call of Duty is in a unique position, unfortunately, where even in the past, like, sure, from the OG Modern Warfare to Modern Warfare 3, a lot of times, it definitely changed in each sequel, but a lot of times you go like, this doesn't really feel like a significant overhaul. And that's where, for me, it would come down to like, okay, I'm not expecting an overhaul visually. And, usually when it comes to story games, you're going for the story versus also if there are some gameplay mechanics and if there's some new game modes. Because I heard supposedly this is like the largest zombies offering or something like that. So that's where it comes down for me to understand that this is a justifiable sequel, similar to what happened with Overwatch. Like if Overwatch launched with the PvE content, but the PvP mostly stayed the same, that's justifiable sequel. But that's not what happened. And if we get Modern Warfare 3 and it's like, it still feels the same. The game modes aren't really different. And the PvE offerings, if that is true about the zombies, isn't really worthwhile, then I can understand.
Well, it's important if it's the same exact devs, that is a little bit
and it's
suspect because normally they rotate. Was it 3 different devs?
So
there's 4 different devs actually, but
originally it was.
Yeah,
it was it Treyarch? I think they were in the Black Ops. Sledgehammer was Modern Warfare,
like, and old school games too, the like World War II games.
Yeah, but now I've fallen
and then
out.
Infinity Ward was the one that did the Modern Warfare.
Infinity Ward was the Modern Warfare guy. See, I'm completely
the problem I've got is and I understand what you're saying. Even between the different versions, though, if you played Vanguard and played Cold War, I played all of them. I own all of them. And then you played Modern Warfare. They all play differently. They don't all play the same because they are made by different devs. Even their graphics are significantly different. And the way that it feels and runs, they're not exactly the same at all. And that's what gets me. And I'm looking at this and seeing it's the same game. And it's like within a year, maybe Modern Warfare 2 released last year.
Here's some more proof that this is probably the same game.
It's like when they released Resident Evil 3 remake so close to Resident Evil 2 remake. I was like, not enough fucking time. And that
hold
game
up, guys. Weapons and cosmetic content, including bundles, operators, and other rewards and unlocks, will carry forward between Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. So if all that's gonna carry forward, that means like engines the same.
It's all the same code.
It's the foundation of the game is just the same.
Money grab. Yeah,
but money.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, look at we have the same game every year with Madden. It's just a roster update. It's a roster update, and then they bring back a feature they removed on the game, 2 prior, and then they go, "Hey, Madden 2023," and everyone's like, "Yeah!"
So the first Modern Warfare, the newer one, was in 2019, and 2 came out in 2022, and the third one is coming out this year. Wow. Okay.
I mean, you also have to remember there are lots of people, and they just play their favorite sports ball game, their favorite shoots ball game, and GTA or Red Dead Redemption. And that's like legit all they play. Maybe some Destiny, maybe. But
yeah, Destiny guy, represent.
But
thank you.
And that's like literally millions and millions of people.
Well, it is,
and they're cool with that.
Fortnite's the same way, only even worse. There are no sequels.
Well, can anyone answer D about this? Does anyone know about this either way? D says that I hope it offers an open world offline zombie mode, even if no split screen. If it is a solo mode,
I would not.
I want a mode.
I would hope for a solid zombies.
It does. It does.
Game,
it does.
but I don't know about open world.
Hold on, guys. The following is the information from Club Real on Twitter. Open world, largest Call of Duty zombies map ever. Missions, core zombie features, and secrets to discover. 4-player squads, up to 24 players.
Okay, so with Black Ops Cold War, there's currently a map that's similar in terms of it's a large open map. So it sounds like it's just another, because when you say open world, I was thinking like, shit, what state of the game?
No, not like that.
This is large.
There's an open world in Warzone. What is it? I forgot what it's called. It's got PvE
one of the zombie modes. Yeah, and like I said, Cold War has a map where it's a large map. And
does anyone know anything about this? The head of Treyarch leaving? I don't. That's new to me.
Rich, coming to go.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I saw that earlier tonight. Some of the fanboys are saying it's because of the acquisition, and there's going to be more of this. And I'm like, shut up! Holy crap!
People just stay at their jobs forever. Ever.
Yeah, well, and that, and the fact there will be some reorganization after the after the acquisition, because it makes sense. You don't need 32 heads of a department. It's like
people make a big deal out of someone leaving a company, and it's like, do you even know what that person did? They're like, no. I'm like, what the fuck does it matter?
Or no, but every time a big name leaves somebody, leaves a studio, well, that's the end of the studio. The guy's been there for 20 years. Let him go do something else.
All the other people who work at the studio. Well, I guess I don't matter.
Yeah.
Evidently, this person is the fucking Jesus Cristo of that company, and if he leaves, everything's gonna fall apart. Yeah, so stupid.
And he responds.
Actually, that analogy doesn't fit, because remember, Jesus Cristo left and it didn't fall apart. But let's move on.
Well, let me say this.
Jesus Cristo is going to be coming back, though, they say. So,
I mean, well, let's just say this. And we're talking
he didn't come back 3 days later. So.
Oh, my God. Wize, save us, please.
Well, let me bring up this topic. Well, let me bring up this topic. So one of the ideas was that one of the things that were going around in that whole Twitter stream was that the reason we shouldn't be expecting games to come out of the caliber of Baldur's Gate 3 is because Baldur's Gate 3, the developers, Larian Studio, who developed what was that game?
Original Sin
1 and 2, they bankrolled the whole thing, and they had basically spent 7 years developing this game, and that's it. And they had 3 years of early access on Steam, and this is what their pedigree is, because Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 were exactly like close to this game, so they just developed this. So do you think we've come a point in gaming right now that I think Microsoft has the right data in a way of having studios specialize? So for example, Coalition is good at Gears of War. Have Coalition only make Gears of War type games. Have, for example, Naughty Dog make only Last of Us type games. And of course, Larian Studios making only Baldur's Gate 3 type games. Do you think that that is a safe approach, or do you think that is going to eventually cause some friction in the industry.
The problem with that is you get developers who get tired of working on the same type of game or the same game over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a balance there. There's got to be
Sorry.
a balance there. Yeah.
Well, why do you say that? Because as everyone else, the people in the chat said, right? People in the panel said that Forza, they only develop, Turn 10 only develops Forza, and you got, for example, Polyphony Studios, they only develop.
No, one of the Forza teams didn't part of the Forza team break off to help with something else recently.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying for this idea that the studio is specialized in that game. It's just, again, you have to start to worry about, okay, now you got people leaving the studio because they're tired of only making this particular
But if
style
for
game.
every one person that
And
leaves, there might be somebody
you
who's
got more
interested
people.
in making that game coming in.
I mean, and that's
I
not
personally, I feel like I like what Killzone and Guerrilla Games did. They did first person shooters with Killzone, and then they transitioned to Horizon. And depending on who you ask, some people say Horizon's awesome, Horizon's meh. But I think it should come down to let the studios create what they want. And it's just make sure you give them the proper manpower to do so. And of course, and that's don't want to derail into the issue with Microsoft, is making sure you're actually keeping an eye on the project and things don't go south because you're like, oh, we're going to give them creative freedom. But if they want to be the Forza team, they want to be the third person narrative over shoulder shooter with Coalition, like, yeah, it's just don't.
Well, I
force them
mean,
unless they
famously
want to do
speaking,
that,
the
yeah.
biggest worry everyone has right now is not in the pedigree of the Horizon team. What was it? What's the Forza Horizon team? I'm sorry, Playground, right? Yeah, Playground.
Yeah.
So everyone is not worried about the pedigree of Playground. However, going from an open world racer to an open world RPG game for somebody who's never developed it, that is not necessarily
Like I said,
a
Gorilla.
confidence thing. I mean, in the sense that,
But
look,
you're
like,
saying studio, like the studio is just this fixed thing and not made
Yeah.
of people who have different skill sets that might not even have been taken
Right.
advantage
I mean,
You can reach
is
out
it
to
a risk? Absolutely. Like, because we haven't seen Playground do RPG mechanics and do dialogue trees. Like, we don't know how good they are going to be at doing that. So it's a risk, absolutely. But they are developers, just like developers
Figure it
at
out.
any other company. Their job is to make shit out of nothing. So
Wasn't Respawn?
all we can do is wait and see if it's good.
Yeah, Respawn did the was it Titanfall? Then they went to Jedi, hack and slash Jedi Fallen
But
Order.
in
Then they
general,
did
in every other industry, we get to a hyper specialization. I mean, you look at the education industry, like, for example, I specialize in teaching math, right? I will not go into a history class and start teaching history. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
well, that's as everyone was saying that they're developers and they have the capability to figure out. Yes, you do have, again, people that specialize in different areas, and you gotta make sure the tech is proper. Was it the issue with Mass Effect trying to use the Frostbite engine and that didn't work out well? That was a hurdle they had to jump with. But again, with the Forza team, maybe they have the right people who are they hired new people that are familiar with RPG mechanics and they're teaching the
As
team.
long as the talent is there, is all that matters.
No,
Like
yeah.
when
no,
Gorilla went
but
from
you-
when
but you
Gorilla
look
went
at
from Killzone to Horizon, like,
but that
they
may
aren't
be
even
a
close to
fluke.
the same.
But that might be fluke because, like, if you look at Nintendo, there's a team that only develops Zelda. There's a team that only develops Mario. There's a team that only develops Splatoon. There's a team that only develops I would say, what was that game? Mario Kart. And you see the quality of these games that come out.
But see,
They have people that float between them.
wait, I was gonna say, but what we don't see over here is the people that float between. They go,
Oh,
okay, I'm
exactly.
done working on Mario Kart for a while. I want to go work on something else.
Exactly.
I mean,
we don't-
Obsidian gave us Grounded, and now they're doing Avowed. They gave us Pillars of Eternity.
yeah.
But
Those are
Obsidian,
three
but
vastly
Grounded is a RPG for its
survival game.
for what
Well,
it is.
then,
It's
well,
not
then
like
let me
Obsidian's
ask you
developing
this,
a
Wise.
racer.
Who
vastly
at
different
that
experience.
studio is
All right.
responsible for how that game turned out? Is it one person? Is it 20 people? Is it 50? Is it the entire,
Yeah.
we don't know who's responsible for how that game turned out. And let's say the person who is responsible leaves. Just because that developer specialized in that one thing, maybe the person that was the magic thing leaves. It doesn't mean that developer is going to be able to keep
And
doing
another
it over
thing,
and over and over
Wise,
again.
By the way, I want to point out real quick that probably that game that you're talking about is as close to Baldur's Gate as you'll get. Because remember, it was in beta, and we were playing it for like 2 years before it actually officially launched.
Yeah, so they had a lot of time.
Yeah.
Another thing, Wise, is
But I mean,
who was it
but
in
you're-
Exile and going from Wasteland over the top-down RPG mechanics to Clockwork Revolution, the first.
But we don't know how much RPG mechanics are in Clockwork Revolution.
But yeah, exactly. And it's just that, again, as people are saying, as long as the talent is there and they understand what they're doing, it's understandable to have some concern because it is a shift from going from a racer open world to a RPG open world. But until we finally see the product, it's
but
not
I mean,
really
like,
much to be said,
you look at Larian Studio. They did Divinity 1 and 2. So they sort of knew going into Baldur's Gate 3 what had to be in here and what did not have to be in here, So they sort of knew. They were a little bit on autopilot. Okay, we have to have side quests. We got to have this. We got to have this. We got to not have this. We got to have this.
Right, but a lot of the studios also immediately when they're going to start a new project, they put out applications for people with specific skill sets. Like, oh, we're going to do combat, so we need someone who specifically has knowledge of combat. We're going to do RPG mechanics. We need someone who has specific knowledge of how to integrate these RPG mechanics. Like it happens,
it's not like they sit there and the guys that work on Forza, they're only into racers. One of the guys sitting there could be I have a great idea for a game, boss. Hey, let's talk about it. And that's how that stuff starts.
Oh, another thing. How about this, Wize? We had Hi-Fi Rush from the team. Well, not the same team, but the studio that did Evil Within. You went from a third-person horror game to a action adventure music hack and slash companion wacky cartoon game.
But then for that one, I would say Halo. They gave Halo from Bungie to 343, and I would argue that no one of those games that they came out with 4, 5, or Infinite was anywhere near what Bungie came out.
And that kind of goes against your argument to an extent. Because you had a studio that worked with that particular style of game since 2013, 2012, wherever Halo 4 came out, and all the way to when Infinite still didn't get the thing.
But then you look at Destiny and Destiny 2, which is just the next, basically I would want to say the next iteration of Halo. If they had Halo kept going with Bungie, no wonder it was good because that's what they know. They're gonna make a top-down RPG.
I think the thing about Halo is there's lots of things about Halo that are bad, but the one aspect that, as someone who has never been a fan of Halo, I don't care about Halo. I was playing Infinite's campaign, I was like, this game has really solid gameplay, like just fun gameplay.
Infinite had some of the most solid gameplay in any Halo. I mean, and I played all of them to a point, and it felt the smoothest. It felt the most. There are things about Halo Infinite that I hope they keep doing, because the motion mechanics and stuff were just they were solid.
I think they wasted too much time focusing on their semi-open world, which ended up really being empty, devoid of life. And had they taken that time, money, and resources and really put it more into
all that water and no fishing.
I mean, for every one studio you can give me that transcended genres and made it successful, I can give you more examples of
so you think they should always be compartmentalized. This is what you do, so this is what you're going to do.
Well, no, because every other industry, that's what happens. You hyper.
Not true. You move around. I work in tech. You move around. You move very far.
And again, who's responsible for the success? Is it one person, 50? Like you don't know who's responsible.
And like you were saying, like the Forza team has been hiring for talent. It's like when people were flipping shit that people are leaving playgrounds to go do something else. I'm like, they're still hiring people. Like it's not. I'll just put it this way. I understand where you're coming from, Wize, and it's up to whoever's in charge of the studio to understand, like, hey, what's the project we want to do, and do we think we're capable of doing it, or should we stay in our lane and specialize? There's nothing wrong as you give us a good product, and it's understandable to be skeptical and hesitant until you actually see the final product to see if Fable's great. But I just don't want to be, oh, this is going to be bad because it's from the racing guys. Like, give them a chance, and if it turns out bad, but we have examples of, again, Horizon, Killzone to Horizon, like I said, with In Exile going from Wasteland to Clockwork Revolution. And even within with who's the team? Tango Gameworks doing different genres. Like once the game comes out and it's bad, then we could definitely say, "Oh, that was a horrible idea." Cough was a.
What it sounds like is Wize wants the video game equivalent of typecasting, and actors hate that shit.
Well, actors may hate that shit, but at the end of the day, a person who is an expert at playing a villain he doesn't seem to have a hard time finding a job. I mean, you look at Christopher Walken; he's an expert villain. You know, you look at the guy who
But
played.
he's not always a villain, dude.
Well, most of the time he does play a villain. Come on now. Very rarely do you see him
a
not.
lot of non-villains.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about the guy, that guy, Giancarlo Esposito, the guy in Breaking Bad? He plays a damn good villain. So, I mean, I don't see anything wrong in that level. I mean, once you sort of hyper specialize, I don't see the point. And plus, another thing,
I don't think there's
Right,
anything wrong.
but
It's just
you can't expect people to just want to do that. Like a lot of the
just because you think they should do that doesn't mean they.
Well, we play these games for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours, 100 hours. That's a lot. These people live and breathe and eat this shit for what, 3, 4, 5 years, and then instantly roll into a sequel and do it for another 3, 4, 5 years. After a certain amount of time, these people are like, I'm fucking tired of looking at Aloy. I don't want to make any more of this shit.
It's.
You were saying?
I was just making fun of Wize.
Okay. So another thing that was brought up was basically, okay, let's go ahead and call a spade here. I don't think any developer goes in and says, I'm going to spend 5 years of my life plus or minus to release a turd. I don't think anyone goes into that thinking that. Everyone who's a developer wants to go in, make a good game, and wants people, especially if this is a creative medium, okay, like books, like movies, like anything. Anyone who's in the creative space wants to get their work out there and want people to see it. As a content creator, I do want people to watch the freaking podcast. Nobody does, but that's a different story. But yeah, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean,
thank you, Chad.
But
Thanks
yeah.
for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, thank you, Chad, for coming in. By the way, so I really appreciate all that, and hit the like and subscribe button. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that I mean,
feel that energy. Just whatever, guys, hit that like, subscribe, whatever. Yeah,
I'd be formally say thank you all for staying with us tonight. The people that came by from Supernova, we appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah, so Supernova brought you in, but hopefully our podcast keeps you here. So yeah, but all right, so. All right, so let's switch it. Have games become too bloated? Another argument was that these developers, they want to make a good game, but the publishers are like, okay, if we've invested this much money, we want to see an ROI, return on investment, ASAP. So the developers are not given the time to make the game that they initially envisioned. And shout out to Optimus Code, rest in peace, my man. He infamously said the design documents were done before the first code hit the computer. So my question to the panel is this: have games become so bloated that now we as gamers are sort of beholden to what the publisher and what they're willing to fund?
Loke, would you like to start us? You've been angrily saying
Loke, you've been kind of quiet. Yeah.
Where is he?
Just enjoying the show.
He's enjoying the
show.
Oh, good for you.
Look.
Have games become bloated and what?
Have become so financially bloated that we are sort of actually subservient to the publishers to fund these or bankroll these AAA games?
No, I don't think games have become bloated. I think
financially bloated, like so much money and stuff.
No. What makes a game financially bloated? Is it the potential return on investment, or is it the investment in and of itself?
The investment in and of itself. Like, for example, when the next Halo was sort of being bankrolled, everyone wants to come in and put their hands in the honeypot, if you will, and want to put all this money in. But then once an investor puts his money in, the first thing he wants to know or she wants to know is, when am I going to see a return on my investment? And that's sort of hamstringing these developers for developing what they really want to, because they are sort of subservient, just like us as gamers, to what the publisher is willing to bankroll.
So I don't have a problem with how much the devs want to put into AAA specifically. I don't have a problem with how much they put into the games, because if we're being honest with ourselves, a lot of these games are especially the AAA games. A lot of games are breaking like 300, 400, 500, sometimes $1 billion in gross profit. So they're making a lot of money. The problem, in my opinion, is not the money they're putting in. It's what they're putting the money to do. what they're putting the money in to do. So Larian put in a whole bunch of money into Baldur's Gate, but they put it in to make a better game. Games, publishers like Take-Two, EA, etc. They'll put in the same amount of money as Larian, or even more, not to make a good game, but to make a better storefront. And that's where the problem is, in my opinion.
Facts.
Look, you got a fan.
Snap, snap, snap.
Yeah. Just I'm one of the people that I actually forgot that I paid for Baldur's Gate 3 years ago. I'm serious. I went back and I found I actually paid for it in 2020. I went, oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Wow.
So I was one of the
game
people.
share on PlayStation. I want to play Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, but I mean, to think about.
I'm not laughing.
How much
I'm serious.
money is being. It's with everything. Like everything has a budget.
Why is everyone laughing at me?
Okay, no, Super, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I was just saying, like everything has a budget. Every game has a budget. Whether it's the investors only gave us this much or whatever it is, they have to work within the constraints of the budget. That's always been the case. And sometimes the limitations are what makes the game better. We have so many games over the course of history that have only been as good as they were because they had to figure out some way to work within the limitations that they had, whether it was monetarily or technologically, and somehow that made the game better. So I don't think that we can necessarily look at that and always say it's a bad thing. Sometimes it ends up being a good thing.
Well, I mean, let me go to you next, Praxis. I don't know. I mean, I hear what Super is saying, but at the same time, like, yeah, these games now need an upwards of at least 100 million. These AAA games at least need upwards of at least 100, $200 million to sort of see the light of day minimum. Most of them more than that. So it's like, okay, so where do you get that type of collateral? I mean, through investors, and investors want an ROI, a quick ROI. So like, yeah, if they're looking for a 3 to 4 year turnaround, I don't think you're going to get a game like Baldur's Gate in 3 to 4 years. What you will get is a really pretty open world, well, not open world, or semi-open world, over the shoulders game whose graphics are sort of stellar, but may have not as much content as some of the other games. So do you think that this is the fact that these games have gotten so financially bloated that it is sort of directing us as gamers into one type of genre that they can get out in a certain amount of years?
It can, but I think we have enough independent developers that are able to fill the gaps in other ways.
But independent developers are not going to make your Baldur's Gate 3.
No, but they're going to make games that are going to make people.
They're going to make Stardew Valley.
They're going to be able to fill voids and do things and supply a game experience that's completely different from what the AAA one is per se, and that's not necessarily a bad thing either. So the variety and of games that you can get is actually, in my opinion, more important than the number of AAA titles that are coming out. I think being able to play whatever you want, all the different ones, does it affect what the big companies do? Yes. I mean, just look what's gone on for the last 10 years with Hollywood. You've seen films come out and they make hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars in the box office, and these companies are just focusing on trying to get that kind of turnaround over and over again, and the golden goose is kind of cooked right now, so they're struggling to try to keep that going, and they don't know what the perfect recipe is. Now with games, I could see the same things kind of happening with the AAA industry. I think they're struggling to try to find that magic bullet all the time, and they see Rockstar as a perfect example. Like we mentioned earlier, Rockstar has made an enormous amount of money on a game that's 10 years old. And I mean, it's kind of a Skyrim model too, for that matter. Bethesda kind of did that as well. So it's the same kind of concept, is let's keep this just rolling. Let's keep going and see what we can do. Let's do the minimal amount of content, and let's make things that are cosmetically neat, and the Fortnite model, all of those. And let's just keep bringing the money in on the one product. We don't even have to really do much. We just have to support the one game with a few things that are simple. And yeah, that's a big thing. As far as spending all the money on a new project, yeah, that becomes very difficult when they look at how much money they made on one game that they created and then think about we're going to make a brand new game. I think that's affecting Bungie really pretty bad right now. They're looking at like, and even Rockstar, they're going, well, what do we do?
Bungie, Nintendo as well. I mean, Zelda
Well,
and Mario,
it's
Zelda
not-
Mario.
Yeah,
No,
but
Nintendo makes
spending
games.
their time. They're spending their time making those games, and they don't really give a shit.
They also
I
have a
mean-
lot of newer games. Like I think
Well,
people forget like
yeah.
how much other stuff Nintendo has
Oh,
that
they
has.
just-
Yeah.
Pikmin 4 they just brought out, which is another totally different style of game that doesn't have any kind of competition in anywhere in the world. It's totally unique, and so it's its own thing. It's kind of like Pokemon. They're completely unique and specific. They're great, and they fill a void, and they do. As far as like these big companies making AAA titles and what's holding them back, yeah, they see successes with, like I said, with these big games making money on just making money on DLC and anything they can do microtransaction wise. But then what's keeping them from spending that money? Yeah, they see investors screaming for a quick return, but it's also it's difficult to make the games. I mean, look what's happened with Starfield, how long it's taken them to make it, and then they've had to delay and they've had to slow it down and try to figure it out. It takes a lot of time. So they have to be willing to do it.
Yeah, when they go to investors now, and they will tell the investor, look, it's going to take us 3 to 5 years to crank this game out.
Oh yeah.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
Yeah, they have to
do
give
you
it a-
think? Okay, let me ask you this, Paul. Do you think a game like Skyrim would come out in the way it did when it came out for the 360, or do you think now, with the environment that it's in right now, they would have taken Skyrim and sort of like piecemealed it into DLCs and all that other crap?
They're piecemealing it right now. What are you talking
What do you
about?
mean? Whoa, what do you mean by that? Like, well, they're putting it on every platform, but the game is the game, and of
No,
course,
DLC.
No,
bro.
they had
we had-
DLCs. They
we
had
had
DLCs for
DLCs, yeah.
Skyrim.
Tons.
Yeah,
Tons
there was
of
expansions
DLC.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
we
a
had
lot.
DLCs. It was
Lots of
Dawn,
them.
and then
yeah,
it
they
was
had
Yeah.
lots of them,
Right,
but the
like,
game that was,
They,
but the
they had
game
the whole
I'm talking-
expansion where you could build your houses and shit. That
Yeah,
wasn't part of
No,
it.
but
Fire.
I'm talking about the original Skyrim, the Skyrim that
Right.
originally came out. Do you think
I-
that you
Well,
would get that type of game
I
in
think
this-
your
in
question's
this
honestly
environment?
going to be answered when Starfield drops, because Starfield is the next Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like their
that's
next
gonna answer your
big
question.
RPG
Of
push.
course.
Yeah.
Also, I can answer your question now because Fallout 4 came out after Starfield. Sorry,
Skyrim.
after Skyrim.
Skyrim.
And
He's from the future.
And it was the same
Yeah,
thing.
he's,
it still didn't
Look, it's
have-
from the future. Holy
It's got to
crap!
be the
Problem.
tie. That's a future tie. Okay, go ahead.
Oh
Pick
my
an
god.
18.
So based off of that, I don't think we'll have anything to worry about.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think the thing that's more worrisome is that the industry has always been monkey see,
That's
monkey
an
do,
awesome
right?
picture,
And
yeah.
and we're seeing a much bigger reliance on live service games because everyone's
Yeah.
chasing that Fortnite money. And for every 50 live service games that get made, only fucking 49 of them fail. It's like we have all these live service games being made everywhere, and almost all of them are going to be failures because everyone wants that.
But you
Fortnite money.
say it's a monkey see, monkey do, and I presume that Baldur's Gate 3, once it comes out, it's gonna, especially once it comes out on the consoles, it's going to do well.
Let me rephrase it. It's monkey see, monkey do when there is success. If a game comes out and it's got some gimmick and it's made $1 bajillion, they go,
Yeah,
"Oh
people are
shit,
gonna hop
we
on
need
that."
that gimmick." We comes out with motion controls and sells $1 bajillion fucking consoles, and Sony says, "Hey, we can make motion controls," and then Xbox goes, "Hey, we can make a connected kind of has motion controls." It's if it made money, someone's going to try to replicate it. It's
Exactly.
always been the case.
Yep, I have
And
been.
when it comes to live
it's
service,
also-
it almost
Yep.
always fails.
Anybody
Yeah,
who's been listening to me
even-
for the last couple of years, I've been flashing out against we had a big wave of all the battle royale crap. Everything had to have battle royale. Like, fucking stop that
Halo
shit.
used Battle Royale.
Battle Royale,
Stop.
battle passes. Everything has a battle pass now.
Yeah.
Where
I do
50%
wanna
of the
say
things you can
shout
earn
out
are
to
locked
Halo
behind a
and
paywall. It's like, dude, fuck off.
Especially, I don't know, if I don't play much free to play games, but I don't know. I think I got spoiled by good ones, and so then I was like, I'm not touching this other like Warframe. That spoiled me. I can't play another free to play game when
Play
Warframe
Halo.
exists.
No, I'm not Halo. Destiny. Yeah, that's
No,
Yeah.
Warframe. The reason is specifically because Warframe isn't the game doesn't have milking mechanics, like mechanics
Cows?
that are designed to like expect money out of you.
Yeah.
Very much in the
just-
game design is very much not to draw money out of you. Yes, I
Yeah,
did
that's
spend
fair.
like a lot of money in.
I did too.
No, mostly because I just
I
felt
had to get the
bad that I
Mesa.
had like 2,000 hours in the game and I'd not spent anything at all.
I had to get Mesa and my Cowboys, so you know.
Well,
Oh, I
Cozy,
had that one. I got that one.
Cozy, since you're our guest, and I wanted to ask you the last question. Do you think, and I know you said earlier that you did not play AAA, but do you think that the state of AAA is fine the way it is, or do you think it needs to be shaken up? And what do you think is going to be the catalyst for that?
I honestly think it has been being shaken up.
Oh, really?
You remember me, like Paul? Weren't you just talking about those games where they had like a rush of like, this game failed, this game failed, this game failed?
Yeah.
I think that's part of the shakeup. You know, you have your games that are going to be probably too big to fail, or at least it's going to take a lot for them to fail, because I don't think that there's like really any game that can't screw the pooch so much that it doesn't eventually actually just fail. But that would take a lot of work. But what I've seen a lot of in like the games that I see that I actively play is you do have like people are talking about all these experiences. There are a lot of solid, AAA games that other people seem like I'm not interested in, that don't have chase all these. So you have these studios that are chasing these things, but then you have a lot of the other ones that are just making games how they do. And they might throw out something like, with Capcom throwing out Exoprimal. Honestly, I can't speak though, because hear me out. I don't think you want to see how much time I have in Exoprimal. I don't think you want to see how much time I have in Exoprimal.
And they had the balls to say that like Exoprimal might get Dino Crisis fucking DLC, and I'm like, dude, Dino Crisis is what we want. We don't want Dino Crisis DLC.
I'm sorry.
Exoprimal.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of time in Exoprimal.
I tried it. I couldn't do
but
it.
I do have like almost 8 days in Exoprimal.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not even gonna
You're
ask.
part of the problem. You're part of the problem.
I tried playing it. I was using Zephyr, the quicker one. I was like, I can't keep playing this game. It's so bad. I can't get into it.
No. I mean, it's the combat, the gameplay loop, and I mean, obviously, because I dropped. I needed something because I dropped Overwatch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, but I thought Exoprimal was hot garbage.
But yeah, I also
played the beta. I was like, nope.
I also really only like Capcom's either very small games or Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
that's like the only games that Capcom makes that I like.
Remember when they released that Resident Evil?
I
shooter?
don't like Resident Evil.
Oh no!
But yeah, I also think a lot of times, like even with these larger studios that do big AAA games, they benefit from I guess I'll call it hi-fi rushing,
1,800 hours
where they create a smaller, tighter, good experience. Because when Capcom, I remember they were failing a lot of their big budget AAA games because they were chasing all that. They were still making smaller games that were actually doing very well. I think people forget Resident Evil Revelation. That was a small game. That was a small little 3DS game that did very well, and then they pushed it elsewhere. But I think failure would be the best thing for them, because I mean, for me personally, it doesn't affect me that much either way, because I will always have games that I am interested in playing.
Well, okay, thank you. Well, our show is winding to an end at 7:30. It's 8:30 in Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 my time Central. So I promised them that I will let them out. So let me go ahead and close up. Let me go ahead.
I'm my own person. I can leave when I want.
Well, yeah, anyone can leave anyone at the time they want, but still, I mean, we promised us 7:30. I don't want to hold everyone too much. So, Loke, you've got the last word.
Starfield is going to do damage. Like Tom Brady in the NFL damage. Yeah.
They're gonna deflate people's balls. Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot of damage.
Turn some
Yeah.
ponies
Oh,
into
a lot of
geldings. Oh,
Exactly. 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 Everyone's gonna make jokes the same way they made jokes about Tom Brady running. Everyone is gonna make jokes. 10, 20 years down the line, it's gonna get real. So
That's a long time.
just just get your backlogs ready, everyone. Starfield is going to do damage. Thank you for listening.
You be
All
that guy
right.
still playing Destiny 2 when Starfield launches.
All right. So I want to thank Cozy for coming out.
You're an anomaly, Triple.
You're not the industry standard. I'm sorry to say that. All right. Cozy, tell us where we can find you.
you can find me on Thursdays. I do 4GQ TV. On Fridays, I will be back. I will be back, Loke. I'll be back with Hamathy Solo and Loke.
Uh-huh.
I promise.
I see your raggedy ass. I see you.
And you can also find me on Twitter
On what?
as Coach Kruga. And I also I have a Twitch, but please don't look at my very old videos. I'm more active on TikTok.
She's TikTok
Sorry.
famous.
That's right.
All right. Loke, tell us where we can find you.
You can
Sorry.
find me on TSWS Gaming on Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays is the lowdown with Ham Solo. Fridays is the bullsitting with Cozy, Ham, Matt, and a special guest on a weekly basis. You can also find me. Oh, please don't try and find me on Twitter. You can find me on Xbox. You can find me on PlayStation. Cheers.
And you can find him here as well every Friday.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's okay, man.
Ah,
It's
shut this place,
Mm.
asshole. Darth Praxis, where can we find you?
Well, here every Friday, unless you kick me off, that could happen. And then Twitter is at Praxis Darth, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, unless Xbox, you want to show up and watch me die like I just did.
Okay, Yellow Screen of Death, where can we find you? Hello, Cerebral.
It's all in his
I don't
picture.
know,
Just make the screen bigger. There we go. We can see.
Yeah, I'm playing Stray. I wasn't looking at the stream, so
Hopefully none of our watchers have
Jesus,
fucking epilepsy.
so there you go. Yeah. Well, no, because I don't want to look at Wize all the time. I lose my lunch when I do that shit. Yeah. Then I'm, So you can find me
what
at.
you're saying is what looking at me makes you take it out of your mouth.
Oh, I ship it.
Ship it like FedEx.
Anyway,
Sorry, go ahead.
you can
Ship
find
it
me
like
on.
DHL. DHL's better.
Yeah.
Please
the-
don't talk about DHL.
You can
Go
find
ahead.
me on the area formerly known as Twitter, the X, at Cerebral Paul 1. You can find me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on 4GQ TV. Tuesdays, you can find me on Xbox Ambassador channel at 12:30 p.m. Pacific for Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul. And then later Tuesday, you can find me on the Retro Renegades. And then Friday, you can find me here. And Saturday and Sunday, who knows where I'll be. And then, of course, in 2 weeks, you'll find me playing Starfield during all of those times, even when I'm on a show, probably. So I won't be paying attention even worse. Yeah, pretty much.
No life it. You're just gonna
Yep.
have the little pea jar by your. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Hey, I plan on as soon as it goes live, I will be streaming. Even if it goes live midnight my time, I will be streaming for an extended period. So.
Obviously.
All right, super. Where can we find you, sir?
I'm on YouTube at Supernova Gaming. I'm on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. I'm on Twitter at Gaming Supernova. And then I'll be here every Friday, same Wize hour, same Wize channel. If he has enough chloroform to drag me here again, Friday at 6:30 Eastern.
With the same Wize ass. Yeah.
Hey, you like this ass, don't you? All right, go ahead.
No.
Darth,
I need an adult question mark.
What?
did I call you already?
What?
Oh, I did.
Okay, where can we find you? Well,
Oh, you did. Oh yeah.
oh, we did. Okay,
You already did. You already did him. Yeah.
Okay, I'm drunk. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Triple, go
Hard to
ahead.
soar. Stop it.
YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, very rarely, if ever, Triple Combo Gaming. The end. Yeah, that's it.
And you can find him.
Oh, and
as
here,
well.
I
Yeah.
guess I got to plug the show to here. Yeah.
Thank you.
That, yeah.
You guess?
Yes. We had like everybody else do it, so I guess I got to add into.
By the way, just so everybody knows, the words "leave me alone," "I'm drunk," "get over it" also come out of his mouth about fourth period when he's working out. So,
we all forget that we're going to be here again, and then the Wize has to come in as like a disappointed parent. He goes like, "Where else are you? Where else are you going to
Yeah.
be?"
Yeah, literally you have to. It's like, are y'all coming this week? Are you? Where are you? I don't even know until the very end of it all. But anyhow, you can find everyone's contact information in the descriptions of this video. I want to thank the chat for coming out. Real Gamer, DE, RPG88, and what was that other guy's name? Rich Krishner, and one more. I missed him. Who was the other guy? I missed. Who came in just for what's his name? For Super. Eric 83. So yeah. So guys, I want to thank you for showing up. So that is our show, and thank you for coming out. Hit the like and subscribe on the way out, and remember, you can be anywhere, but you've not been anywhere until you've been wasted with Wize. Have a great night, guys.
Wasted with Wize.
Now you just need to get like a really cool outro video, and boom, we'll be official. Yeah.
I support this.
Oh man, I forgot I had water on the side.